For a privileged few, tonight marks the start of the third phase for the 2017 season, the UIL Texas High School Football State Playoffs. The Canyon Lake Hawks, winner of District 14 4A, have made the trip north of our state capital to the city of Cedar Park to take on what is normally a perennial 4A power, the Gatesville Hornets, a team back in the postseason after missing out on the playoffs a year ago, looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. It's the Canyon Lake Hawks and the Gatesville Hornets coming up next, exclusively on the Hawks Network. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to John Gupton Stadium on the campus of Vista Ridge High School in Cedar Park, Texas. I am Ben Campos, joined with my broadcast partner this evening, Travis Steele. Executive producer is Bo Wick. Well, Travis, happy playoffs to you, this being the first round of the state playoffs. Canyon Lake coming into tonight's ball game, the big question mark with them, will they have the talents of a Tanner Ferris available? A couple of weeks ago, left the game versus Fredericksburg with an injury. Of course, the Canyon Lake Hawks went through a bye week, and he did not play last week versus the Taylor Ducks, an important game for Canyon Lake. And so that's the big question mark we'll see tonight. Will Tanner be available for Canyon Lake?
Yeah, and he was warming up. Looked like he was okay, but you really don't know until you get out there and try and take your first sprint and steps. He's a senior, playoffs. He's going to want to play for sure, so coaches are going to keep an eye on him. We'll see what happens.
The Hawks come into this game with an 8-game winning streak after losing 2 in a row in weeks 3 and 4 in the season. And most importantly, Travis, you look at their schedule, an important bye week in week 10. Perhaps this Canyon Lake team is a little bit fresher than some of the other teams in the playoffs, but also the Hawks have they're coming to this game with a unique from a unique standpoint, given that last week they really had to play something, although not for a spot in the playoffs, but they were playing for a district championship last week versus what was then an undefeated team in district, the Taylor Ducks.
Yeah, it seemed like a really nice time to have a bye week. They get that 1 week off. I mean, you know they didn't take it off, but then they get to come back and start locking in. And so they've probably already been locked into playoff mode for 2 weeks. Because they just had to go out there. They had to win their district championship, and they did take care of Taylor 28-14, and now they actually start playoffs, and I think they're ready to go.
The Canyon Lake defense has been clicking on all cylinders over the past couple of weeks. So we'll mention in their game last week versus Taylor, one of the statistics that really pops the eye is that they had 14 tackles for a loss, and 7 of those came by way of sack. But when you talk to Coach Charlie Drum and you ask him what to expect tonight versus Gatesville, he says their offense is very similar to that of Fredericksburg. So turn the page a couple of games to see how the Hawks did versus the Billies. Well, it was a game in which the Hawks limited Fredericksburg to 35 points, which is below their season average, and also held them below their averages in pass and rush totals, ultimately holding Fredericksburg to less than 400 yards of total offense, well below their season average.
Yeah, and they really grinded Fredericksburg to a halt in the second half of that game. First game, it was offense both ways, and then second half, Canyon Lake made some adjustments and really slowed them down. And it's going to be interesting watching them come out. We were able to see their cornerbacks running with the receivers for Fredericksburg and keeping their eye on that big arm for Fredericksburg, and there's another big arm tonight.
Well, let's segue over to our opponent tonight. You mentioned the big arm. If I was going to start a team from scratch and it was a team that was based only on names, my first-round draft pick would be the quarterback Jet Truss. The senior from Gatesville is completing 57% of his passes. And Travis, when we were watching him without pads in warm-ups, clearly one of the bigger guys on the field. That guy could sling it, and that's just for the impression we got from warm-ups.
Yeah, he's got a name named Jet, but he really throws the ball more than he runs. He's also their leading rusher, though. Yeah, he can definitely throw it. They had a guy, one of the coaches, whenever he was warming up with the receiver, they had a coach playing cutoff man between him and his receiver because the receiver couldn't make it all the way back to him. So that's always kind of impressive.
Yeah, it wasn't just that it was a cross-field throw, but it was a cross-field on an angle diagonally that added some yards there. So definitely we'll see what Jet could do throwing the football. The guy that will probably be on the receiving end of that is their star receiver, Derek Bears, coming off a big game versus Liberty Hill.
Yeah, he had 12 catches for 271 yards and 4 touchdowns and a loss. That's incredible. And And Jet, threw it for over 300 yards himself. Of course, 271 yards, your number one receiver can get you 350 pretty quick.
That's Travis Steele. I am Ben Campos. Earlier in the week, Brant Freeman had a chance to sit down with Hawk head coach Charlie Drum and get his expectation in tonight's ball game, the first round of the playoffs, versus the Gatesville Hornets. We'll have that conversation on the other side of these words. You're listening to Hawk Football on the Hawk Network.
Tom Brady, that's a mic drop.
This is football, and this is how it is.
Let's just get right to it.
Start your game day with Game Day Morning, football's first pregame show every Sunday.
Watch NFL Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 579. GVTC, just plain smart.
And welcome back to the studios of Hawks Football Weekly. I'm your host, Brant Freeman, with Canyon Lake head coach Charlie Drum. The opponent this Friday, the Gatesville Hornets, in the playoff opener. The Hornets are 7-3, a team that started the year 7-0, but playing in a really tough district, the 1340 district, a district that features teams like La Vega, China Spring, Liberty Hill. In fact, the three-game losing streak the Hornets had to end the season came against those three teams. No shame in that. Coach, this is an impressive team coming out of a really tough district. You can relate. What initially impresses you about your opponent this Friday?
The physicality. They're real big up front. Their offensive line averages about 6'2", 270, 280. So they're going to be the biggest team up front we've faced. We kind of physically dominated our opponents in district, but it's going to be a test for our team because Gatesville's real physical, and like you said, their only 3 losses are to 3 state-ranked opponents.
Now, you look at the play of the offense for the Hornets this season. They're averaging more than 35 points per game. They scored 42 in their final game last week against Liberty Hill. The quarterback, Jet Truss, a dual threat kind of player. Is there a comparable offense for Gatesville that you've seen earlier this season?
Probably Fredericksburg would be the closest. Gatesville likes to throw a bunch of formations at you, and they kind of balance their running and passing. But Gatesville's probably much more physical than Fredericksburg, so it's definitely going to be a challenge.
You look at the defense for Gatesville, and here's an interesting thing we found out. There was only one stat that the Hornets put up in their locker room, and that is turnover margin. And they say the reason for that is because it is a team stat. Everybody has a hand in turnovers, whether that's a turnover lost or turnover gained, and their defense has forced nearly 20 of them this year, about 2 per game. What do they do to create so much havoc?
They're really good at stripping the football, whether it's linebackers, their secondary. I know number 5, I think he's stripped like 5 balls in the last 3 games. I mean, you might have a 20-yard gain, but here comes one of their defensive backs, and they're real good at stripping and punching the ball out. So we're going to have to guard against that when you have 2 good teams playing. Sometimes that's the difference in a ball game.
Now, you've coached in playoff games before. Typically, what does a game like this come down to?
Like we talked about before, turnover and penalties and just mental mistakes. This time of the season, a lot of kids are tired and physically, worn down, and sometimes you tend to, not hold on to the football or make some mental mistakes. So when you have 2 good teams playing, it comes down to little things like that. All
right, well, that game is going to kick off this Friday, 7:30 from Gupton Stadium in Cedar Hill. Coach, best of luck against the Hornets.
All right, thank you.
I'm Jaime Buenteo, produce buyer for H-E-B. We work hard to find the freshest, best produce available. That's why we work with Texas growers to buy local as much as possible. Over 100 million pounds annually. In fact, we sell more produce than any other store in Texas. Grapefruit, corn, blueberries, and tons more. All grown right here in our beautiful backyard and on their way to your store within 24 hours. This is the local Texas produce department at H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B.
And welcome back to Gupton Stadium in Cedar Park, Texas. Ben Campos, Travis Steele with you. Pregame still underway as we are leading up to kickoff between the Canyon Lake Hawks and the Gatesville Hornets in the first round of the Class 4A Region 4 UIL State Football Playoffs. And Travis, the term perennial is often used in sports and agriculture, when you talk about flowers and things of that nature, it's to refer to those things that come back every year. And use that phrase almost applies to this Gatesville team. You are used to seeing them in the playoffs year in and year out, but they missed out on that opportunity in 2016, had a 4-6 record, and went through their District 13 4A with a 1-4 mark. Now they came into 2017 with something to prove. Started that season, started this year 7-0 with big wins over 3A power Cameron Yo and Waco Connolly as well. So big name teams that you've heard of on the 4A level, but as they've ended this year, they've run into a buzzsaw of sorts, have lost their 3 straight to end the regular season. But, Travis, you look at the teams that they have lost to, perhaps no shame, they're some of the best in the state of Texas.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the toughest districts in the state, probably the toughest district in 4A. You've got 3 perennial powers in Waco, La Vega, Liberty Hill, and China Spring. And so, really, it's kind of a fight for 4th between Gatesville, Lampasas, and Burnett. And you lose one, you're done with those teams. And last year they lost one. This year they didn't.
Waco La Vega is the district champion out of 13 4A with a perfect 5-0 mark, 10-0 on the year. Liberty Hill comes out of District 13 4A, 4-1, 7-2 on the year. And China Spring locks up that 3rd spot, a team actually, if you go back to 2009, the first playoff experience for Canyon Lake was against China Spring, so no stranger to this 13 4A district are the Hawks. Other side of the football, as we mentioned in the opening, Canyon Lake, winners of District 14 4A, had to beat the Taylor Ducks in a battle of unbeatens to do that, but they did that last week, 28-14.
Yeah, and Canyon Lake's 2 losses are also to 4A powers and Giddings and Wimberley. They've both been around for a long time, been good for a long time. So these teams between them have a decent number of losses. They have 5 losses between them, but of those 5 losses, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. They're 5 good teams.
If we were playing Family Feud and put the answers on the board, top teams in the state of Texas on the 4A level, the top 5 answers would probably be Giddings, Wimberley, China Spring, Liberty Hill, and La Vega, and those are the collective 5 losses for these 2 football programs as Canyon Lake has come out of their inflatable tunnel to the south end zone onto Gupton Stadium's field as Gatesville, we're awaiting their entrance as well. Here in Cedar Park, north of our state capital of Austin, no easy way to get here from Comal County or from Gatesville. You see the crowd still filing in, and people still that are filing in are the bands. Gatesville band has just gotten settled and barely got through their warm-ups before they have to play their fight song. And still, Travis, we're looking here on the near side line, is still looking for the Canyon Lake High School band. As I think I see some buses now pulling up to the parking lot here to our right, so that might be them. About 30 seconds before kickoff. It just goes to show you, just not an easy way to get here when you got to cut through the city of Austin.
No, yeah, I think it was a 47-mile as the crow flies, but it would take almost 2 hours to get here. So I mean, a lot of turns and snakes, and people are going to start showing up.
The captains are on the field for the coin toss, so we will have that momentarily. Again, Gatesville representing 13 4A had a 2-3 district mark. Losers of 3 in a row. Canyon Lake champions in District 14 4A, this being the Division I side of the region. Charlie Drum is in his 6th season as the Hawk head coach, 8-2 record this year. Was an assistant under Matt Monzingo and has been at Canyon Lake since the start of the program, this being his 10th season with the Hawks. Was promoted to head coach back in May of 2012 after Coach Monzingo was named athletic director at Canyon High School. The captains for Canyon Lake, number 55, Jacob Foster, number 4, Parker Reno, number 12, Ben Fulton, and number 90, Richard Rosas, and they represent Canyon Lake at midfield, along with the entire team locked in arms at the numbers. Of course, if you're a secondary captain, as they call that, Travis, you can't go out to the coin toss, but a nice gesture there. And you also see it on the other side of the field from Gatesville as well.
Yeah, everyone's locked arms. It's playoff football, and everyone's ready to play.
We are still waiting for the results of the coin toss. Of course, this is a rare timing, as usually it happens during warm-ups and not after the teams come out of their run-through. Canyon Lake has won the toss. It looks like they are designated the home team tonight, so they are in their home jerseys. Canyon Lake indeed has won the toss, will elect to receive. So Gatesville will be kicking, going right to left, and defend the south end zone. Kickoff moments away here from Gupton Stadium. We'll take our last break and conclude pregame festivities. When we come back after these words, kickoff in round 1 of the Texas High School Football State Playoffs. You're listening to Hawk Football on the Hawks Network.
We are mutants endangered. You're with us now.
If you missed an episode of The Gifted, watch anytime. It's the show critics are calling chills-inducing. Promises to be one of the best Marvel TV series.
These people need hope.
The Gifted is all new Monday on Fox, or watch anytime on demand or Fox Now.
The University Interscholastic League would like to thank its corporate sponsors. Without the generous support of these sponsors, many UIL activities would not be possible. The UIL gives special thanks to the Army National Guard, Baden, Balfour, Baylor Scott and White, Dairy Max, Dairy Queen, Ford, Fox Sports Southwest, Gatorade, Hellas Construction, Max Preps, the NFHS Network, Nike, Register My Athlete, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, and Tick-A-Tap Ticketing. These generous corporate sponsors support the UIL in all its activities, music, academics, and athletics. The UIL appreciates these sponsors and their participation in all that the UIL does in Texas extracurricular activities. On behalf of the UIL and its corporate sponsors, thank you for supporting UIL activities in your community, and thank you for listening to this state playoff contest. Enjoy the game.
Tall break, that's a mic drop.
This is football, and this is how it is. Let's just get right to it.
Start your game day with Game Day Morning, football's first pregame show every Sunday.
Watch NFL Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 579. GVTC, just plain smart.
Whether you're out at the beach or chilling poolside, the summer heat is here. Music Choice is turning it up. Chill out with the latest music from your favorite kids artists and more. Your music lives here on Music Choice.
Hey guys, it's Sophia Carson here. Check out all of my music videos available on Music Choice On Demand. Available on GVTC. Just go to Free On Demand and select Music Choice.
And the cheerleaders.
Welcome back to Gupton Stadium. Kickoff moments away. To our right, a late arriving Canyon Lake spirit groups, the cheerleaders, the dance teams, the marching bands, the color guards. So that bus left obviously later than the football players. And Travis, one thing I know about coming north of Austin, you could delay your trip 15 minutes after perhaps I left, and you would get there 2 hours later. It's just that big of a difference in traffic.
Yeah, it's horrible trying to go through Austin. So I'm sure they left 30 minutes or an hour after Canyon Lake or after the football team and showed up 2 hours later. So
nature of the beast. If you want to travel through the greater Austin area, and smack dab in the middle between these two cities of Canyon Lake and Gatesville is Cedar Park, and that's where we have tonight's ball game. David Saldivar is a kicker for Gatesville, has the ball teed up at the 40. Hornets kicking right to left. They are in their road jerseys, white pants, white shirts, black numbers, black helmet, and Canyon Lake in their all forest green look at home with gold a number. Saldivar with the ball teed up on the right hash sends this one deep, and Lorette would watch the ball bounce in and out of the end zone for a touchback. So Canyon Lake will have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 25. A little bit of a breeze, and Travis, just really uncommon to have this wind out of the south this time of year. Usually it's from the north, but that's exactly where the wind's coming from, at the back of Gatesville to start this ball game and in the face of Canyon Lake.
Yeah, I'm looking at their kicker and his stats. I think that ball would have gone out of the back of the end zone anyways. This kicker is very good, 27 for 27 in the year from the extra point and 6 for 5, or 5 for 6 in the field goal.
1st and 10, Canyon Lake, end around handoff is given from left to right. Ball is marked at the 28-yard line. That's Trenton Lorette on the carry, gain of 3, 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, we didn't see Trenton Lorette too much a couple of games ago against Fredericksburg. I'm wondering how healthy Tanner Ferris is right now already.
Out of the wishbone. Slot T, man in motion from left to right. Handoff, giving up the gut. It's St. John still powering his way across the 30. Will be shy of the 1st down marker to the 24, setting up 3rd and 1.
And it's not just going to be one guy that takes down Michael St. John. That guy loves to take people on his back.
I see Tanner Ferris suited up, but still on the sideline, but sticking around the offensive huddle as Jacob Ruff gets the call on the sideline and brings it in. Michael St. John coming out. 3rd and 1 for Canyon Lake, opening possession of this ball game. Handoff. Chacon tries the left side, diving towards the 1st down marker. It's going to come down to the spot, and Travis, he might be half a yard short.
Yeah, I don't think he got there. This defense is ready to play. They are swarming all to the football, making sure that they get these guys down. They know that Canyon Lake, you can't take them down with one person, and they know that. They've watched the tape, and they know they got to get there.
St. John checks back in with the play from the sidelines. Canyon Lake is going to go for it here. 10 minutes left in the 1st quarter. Quick to the line. 4th and 1. St. John on the left side. He's got a hawk 1st down.
Yeah, he had that one easily. And you can already see one of the things that you and I talked about getting ready for this game. Looking at Gatesville just ripping at the ball. They love to force fumbles. They love to cause turnovers. And every time they're in a pile, they're going to be ripping at that football.
You heard that conversation with Brant Freeman and Coach Charlie Drum. The one stat that Gatesville has in their locker room is turnover margin. They feel like that is a team statistic, whether it's offense giving the ball away, defense taking it away, or any play you could get in the kicking game. So that is definitely stressed. On the handoff on 1st and 10, coming to the near side and turning the corner is 34, Joseph Ruiz, across the 45. No, they won't give him across the 35. They'll give him to the 45. Still a game of 6, and it'll be 2nd down and 4.
Trying to spread out this Gatesville defense. They ran up the middle 4 straight times on that first drive, or on that first set of downs, and now they're starting to spread them out a little bit, and that's when if they start getting you guessing, that's when they're gone.
2nd down and 4 for Canyon Lake, now under 9.5 left to go, opening period. Hawks on their first possession. Handoff is actually a pitch back to Ruff. He has running room on that left side, now into Hornet territory across the 45 to the Gatesville 44. Another 1st down for Canyon Lake.
Now they got him going side to side, and then they're going to come right back up the middle, and then they're going to it's fun to watch.
And I'll tell you, it's interesting. When I think of slot T, you don't think of spread out the defense. That's usually for your more conventional spread offenses where the name comes from. But you're exactly right with the motion and how they distribute the football. 1st and 10 from the 44. Handoff coming to the near side. That's Ferris back in the game. Makes a man miss at the 45. Across the 40. Skips out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Good gain on first action from Tanner Ferris.
Yeah, he looked pretty healthy on that run. He was able to get the outside, get a stiff arm, break a tackle, and get a couple extra yards. And now they got a 2nd and short right where they like it, where it's super manageable.
Gain of 7 for Tanner as he comes back to the sideline, perhaps finding ways to wean him back into play. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Ball resting at the Hornet 37. Hawks moving left to right in the face of a stiff breeze. Now under center, handoff, St. John left side across the 35 as another Hawk 1st down to the 33.
already 3 first downs for this Hawk offense that loves to grind it out. I think they've gotten about 40 yards on 10 plays. So 4 yards a play and drive's still going.
Well, I'll tell you, Travis, last time we and I were together was the game versus Fredericksburg, and the Hawk offense, you could tell the way that you could tell how the drive was going to end by if Canyon Lake got a first down. If they did, they scored a touchdown. If not, it was a 3-and-out, and they punted. And right now, already 3 first downs. So a handoff goes to Ruff up the middle, breaking out of tackles across the 30, spins forward down to the 27. Good gain on first down.
And there's another huge chunk on first down. It's their 3rd straight, 2nd and short, and they were able to get the defense guessing a little bit. They got some of the linebackers to start moving out to the right, and enough hole there in the middle to get up.
Already milked 4 minutes off of this first quarter clock, and people are still filing in. If they don't hurry up and get here to Gupton Stadium, they might miss the first quarter the way the clock's bleeding and the way Canyon Lake is running this offense. On 2nd down and 4, handoff to the right side is given. I believe that is that Lorette is the question for me. No, I think it is Lorette. It'll get ahead short of the first down by 1 yard. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Now, as we've already seen, 3rd and short, probably 4-down territory for this Canyon Lake team as long as they don't lose 7 here. I imagine that this is 4-down territory.
Well, they already showed it to us deep in their own end, so why not here? On 3rd and 1 from the Hornet 24-yard line. Handoff, Chacon, left side, lowers his shoulder and plows through a defender, enough for a first down. Travis, contact was made short of the line to gain, but the extra effort from Tristan got him the first down.
Yeah, just lowered his pad level and was able to get right through him and get the yards he needed. Knew where his first down was and got there.
Coming up, the 10th play of the drive, as we are now under 7 minutes left in the first quarter, an ideal opening drive for this Canyon Lake Hawk team.
This is exactly what they wanted to do, exactly the game plan that they had drawn up.
On 1st and 10, handoff, a little inside give, and Gatesville is there to stop forward progress. They get him to the 20. It'll be a gain of 2, as the ball carrier there, I believe, was Ruiz.
And you're seeing it again, Gatesville, as soon as a guy gets close to down, people are jumping on the pile, ripping at the ball, trying to get it out. It's obviously a very, very highly emphasized part of this defense.
Cayman McDonough checks in, the swing man for Canyon Lake. He'll go out in a wide receiver position to the left. Fulton sends a man in motion. It's Ferris. They give it to him on a sweep. Turns the corner at the 20. Couple of Hornets go low on Tanner. He goes out of bounds to the 17. Good gain by Tanner, and nice to see him back up on his feet.
Yeah, he's got all the speed that he normally has. I don't know what was keeping him out, but it looks to have healed.
One thing you talk to coaches, and you say, well, what was it? And they might just say a lower body injury, and you're like, well, come on, coach, help me out here. But they want to play that close to the vest, and I totally understand. It was a gain of 4 for Tanner. Sets up 3rd and 5 for Canyon Lake. Now under 6 minutes to go in the ball game. Handoff up the middle is to Jacob Ruff to the 15. Gain of 3 and a 4th and short upcoming. What do you do here, Charlie Drone?
Well, it doesn't even look like he's thinking about it. They're going for it, and they need to get these 2 yards.
Trenton Lorette comes into the ball game. So does Tanner Ferris, but because Trenton plays both sides of the football, we don't know if this is the field goal package team or is it the conventional Hawk offense. 4th and 3. Now under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Opening possession for Canyon Lake. They'll go for it from the 15-yard line. Man in motion, that's Ferris from left to right. Inside give, Lorette. He's dragging players with him. Does he have a Hawk first down? Yes, he does, to the 10.
Yeah, that was a very smart call by this offense. They knew that they've been getting at least 2 or 3 yards every time they take it up the middle, and they got it again there.
Needed 3, got 5, all 5 after contact. They actually spotted to the 11. And a good run there by Trenton keeps this drive going. That's the second 4th down conversion on this drive. And we are now under 4.5 left to go in the first quarter. Just incredible clock management here. 1st and 10 from the 11. Inside give as flag comes down is busted up at the line of scrimmage. The defensive line for Gatesville gets good penetration, and Micah St. John runs into his own lineman.
Yeah, as you see, he was offsides on the defense, which is why they got that penetration that they haven't gotten all night.
Well, you know, Travis, hear me out here. That might be a smart penalty. One, you're guessing at this point on the snap count, and Canyon Lake is doing a good job of mixing it up, but it kind of buys your team a chance to catch their breath. This clock has been running almost nonstop. Canyon Lake starts this game with the opening possession, and we are now approaching 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Travis, safe to say I've never seen anything like this.
No, this is crazy. And a lot of times against slot T, you see defenses that'll call a random timeout, and I think you might see one from Gatesville on the next drive if it goes the same way this one's going.
Ball at the 6, handoff, given to the right side, and he's into the end zone. Joseph Ruiz from 6 yards out.
There's a huge hole in the right side. I think Gatesville started to guess. A lot of hands on the hips already. They're getting tired out there, but that's what happens whenever you have a drive that goes for over 8 minutes.
Well, one thing that I learned from you when you play the slot T is that you can't guess. You are not allowed to guess. You have to play assignment football, and Canyon Lake gets Gatesville guessing there, and they score from 6 yards out.
When you're on the field for 8 straight minutes as a defense, you get tired and you just want to make a play and make something happen, and I think too many guys try to do that on that drive.
Lorette's extra point is good, and we have a new score. It's Canyon Lake 7, Gatesville 0. You're listening to Hawks Football on the Hawk Network.
The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
Ben Campos, Travis Steele with you. 3:48 left to go in the first quarter, and we've only seen one possession of football. Canyon Lake dominates on their opening possession, Travis. 14 plays, 75 yards, over 8 minutes on that drive. It ends in a Joseph Ruiz 6-yard touchdown run, and our score is Canyon Lake 7, Gatesville about to touch the ball for the first time, 0. Ball's teed up. Lorette sends this one high and short, and an up man will take it at the 25-yard line. Going to the right, nowhere to go. Stopped at the 30. It's Zach Miller in on the return, amongst others for Canyon Lake. Grayson Lee making the stop.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back to that last possession by Canyon Lake. I don't think they got a first down on a second down. Every single time they got a first down was on a third or fourth down. They were getting at max 5-6 yards per play and just grinding it out, doing exactly what Canyon Lake wants to do on the offensive side of the football.
First look at Jet Truss, the quarterback for Gatesville, as he comes to the line at the 31-yard line, moving right to left. It's a direct snap to the running back, Tyler Lewis, and he's out in the field. Across midfield now into Hawk territory, shy of the 40 to the 41-yard line. Good run there by Tyler Lewis, the junior running back.
Yeah, we have him as a running back, and Gatesville has him as a wide receiver. He's fast, and he made some people miss out there. I don't know what you call him, but he can move.
Sometimes that's all you need as an analyst, Travis, to just say he's fast, and he shows you why there. First and 10 for Gatesville at the Canyon Lake 42. Bat to pass is Truss, fires the ball across the middle, has a man. That is Byer across the 30-yard line, spun down to the 28. Another Gatesville first down.
This is a tale of two offenses. One team, every single time you see a third down. This one you haven't even seen a second down yet, and they've already moved 50 yards.
2 plays gets them deep into Canyon Lake territory at the Hawk 28-yard line. Truss with 3 receivers here to the near side. Ball on the far hash at the 28. Sends a man in motion. That's Lewis out of the backfield. Now the lone receiver to the right. Receiver screen, it's Byer again to the near side, cuts up the middle at the 25-20, lowers his shoulder before barreling over a couple of Hawk defenders, has enough for another Hornet first down to the Canyon Lake 17-yard line.
Well, I've seen a lot of their first down offense. I'm interested to see their second and third down offense.
You're about to run out of plays on their first down play sheet. Here, it's been nothing but first downs for Gatesville. 2:40 left to go in the opening period. Canyon Lake on top, 7-0 with Gatesville driving. Inside the red zone at the Hawk 17. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Fake the handoff to Lewis, keeper by Truss. Across the 10-yard line, spins out of a tackle at the 7. Across the 5-yard line, dives for the pylon. He's going to be short. Brought down at the 3-yard line. As you're seeing the other side of his game, Travis. Jet able to run the football.
And another first down. I think Canyon Lake and Gatesville now have the same amount of first downs, which sounds crazy, but I think they both had 4 first downs. So, yeah.
Tells you, you're right, a tale of 2 offenses. The ball is actually marked at the 1, and Gatesville will be at a shotgun from the right. They fake the handoff. It's Truss up the middle. The Hawks are there to clog it up, sending them back for a loss of maybe half a yard. In on the tackle for Canyon Lake, I see 70 C.J. Parrish coming out of the pile.
Canyon Lake was ready there. They had 6, 7 guys in the box and dared them run up the middle, and Gatesville did. And now we got second down.
The rare second down for Gatesville in this ball game. From the 2, it's Truss. The right side, and again the Hawks are there, running into the open arms of the defensive lineman. I believe, Travis, that's Joshua Allman, number 74.
I think you're right, and we're seeing Gatesville's leading rusher on that take it 2 straight times up the middle for nothing. Canyon Lake's defense is stout in the middle, and they're holding them down with that all-senior defensive line.
3rd and goal from the 1. Out of the gun. Truss, he'll try it again. The right side quarterback sneak. This time he's in. Touchdown, Gatesville.
3rd time's a charm. That's their leading rusher and scores what was his 7th rushing touchdown of the year, I believe.
He's in from 1 to...
Oh, it's his 11th rushing touchdown of the year. I apologize.
Make the score 7-6. Extra point pending. Extra point coming from David Salazar. Snap is high but down. Kick up by Saldivar is good. 1:01 left to go, opening period. We have a tie ball game. It's Canyon Lake 7, Gatesville 7. More of the UIL state playoffs coming up on the other side of these words.
I'm Jaime Buenteo, produce buyer for H-E-B. We work hard to find the freshest, best produce available. That's why we work with Texas growers to buy local as much as possible. Over 100 million pounds annually. In fact, we sell more produce than any other store in Texas. Grapefruit, corn, blueberries, and tons more. All grown right here in our beautiful backyard and on their way to your store within 24 hours. This is the local Texas Produce Department at H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B.
Travis, this is fun, and I hope that Daddy doesn't take the T-Bird away anytime soon. We have 2 different styles of offenses. You saw Canyon Lake take almost 9 minutes off the clock in their scoring drive to go up 7-0, and you saw Gatesville respond within 2 minutes to tie the ball game. Almost all done through the air and before getting deep into the red zone, and then their quarterback rushes it in on 3 straight times in order to get the equalizing touchdown.
Yeah, and now Canyon Lake gets the ball back, and that's the interesting thing about this 4A football is you talk about tiring out the defense, but the defense is the offense is the defense. So it's fun to watch.
Saldivar sends this one high and deep to the far sideline. Will go out of bounds at the 4 as Lorette lets it bounce. And so with the penalty, I believe Canyon Lake will get the ball 1st and 10 from the 35.
Yeah, and I did not expect that did not expect to see that from their kicker. Kicker's, as I said earlier, perfect from extra points, and he only missed 1 field goal all year. Pretty accurate guy, and you don't usually see him kick out of bounds.
And you could just tell during warm-ups if a kicker's got a good leg and stuff like that. It's the one position you could really evaluate a guy during warm-ups, and certainly Saldivar has the big enough leg for it, but this one was not a question of leg strength. It was a question of direction.
You can evaluate it a little bit better than I can, Ben.
That is my area of expertise for sure. And actually, Coach Charlie Drum, I think the question is whether or not you make Gatesville re-kick and send them back 5 yards, or do you take it at the 35? We'll see where the referees have the ball spotted. They actually have it marked at the 30. So 1st and 10, Canyon Lake from their own 30, moving left to right. 1:01 left to go, opening period, tie ball game. Canyon Lake with their second possession tonight.
And probably a run.
We'll see. I mean, that's 90% of the stuff. In fact, last week versus Taylor, Ben Fulton only threw the ball 6 times for 39 yards. Out of the slot T, they fake it, and it's a keeper by Fulton. Tries the left side, tackled from behind by a jersey pull, but not before Ben gets to the 35 on a gain of 5.
He's actually really lucky to get that jersey pull. There was a lot of the defense that was fading to the left there following that handoff, and the quarterback really had a lot of room if it wasn't for one lone defender able to pull him down.
One lone defender stayed home and made a grab at the back of the jersey, setting up a 2nd down and 5. Handoff near side is Ruiz, and unable to turn the corner. It's a mass of players. Blew up by Owen Sibley, the defensive lineman for Gatesville.
And Gatesville's doing a good job on this possession of staying home. I mentioned the one guy that got the quarterback there. There were 3 or 4 guys a little bit past that were ready on the secondary to jump on him, and that's the end of our first quarter.
Final seconds coming off, and we have indeed finished 1 quarter of play. Here at Gupton Stadium in Cedar Park, Texas, it is Canyon Lake 7 and Gatesville 7. You're listening to high school football on the Hawks Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
In my 11 years of covering high school football in the greater San Antonio-Austin area, Travis, I don't think I've ever completed a first quarter of play before the start of the 8 o'clock hour, and yet we've done that tonight here in Cedar Park. About to start the second quarter of play, Canyon Lake and Gatesville are tied at 7. Canyon Lake now moving right to left. Ball spotted at the 36-yard line. This will be a 3rd down and 4 for the Hawks.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about the Canyon Lake offense is there's no incomplete passes, so the clock doesn't stop there. They keep getting first downs. No change of possession. You're just killing clock.
It's exactly how the offense is designed. As here we have a pass play. Fulton rolls to the near side, delivers the ball. It's caught by Chacon out of the backfield across the 40 to the 45 before going out of bounds. And this will be a Hawk first down on the rare pass play from Ben Fulton.
And a rare clock stoppage as well since he got pushed out of bounds.
That's true, too.
That's the other part of the Canyon Lake offense. They like staying in the middle of the field. They like using their big guys to push around your big guys, and they'll usually get outside, and now they did, and clock stopped. And I don't know what to do with this extra time.
That is Chacon's 8th catch of the year. I'm with you on that, too. A lot of filler time for us as the handoff coming to the near side. I believe that's Chacon once again. Minimal gain on the left side of that Hawk line. Falls forward, I believe, to the 47. It'll be a gain of about 2.
I think that's only maybe the 3rd play for Canyon Lake that's been stopped for less than 2 yards. That's not what they want their offense to do, and you haven't seen it tonight. So let's see if they can get to this 3rd manageable like they want on this 2nd down.
Checking in is Braden Duke, the 5'10", 180-pound senior, lined up in that swingman position. Santa man in motion is Ruiz from right to left. Handoff goes up the middle. Across midfield, slightly into Hornet territory is the ball carrier. I believe that was 32, Jacob Ruff, enough for maybe 6 yards in now slightly into Hornet territory at the 49.
So now they got the 3rd and 5 and probably, again, 4-down territory if they get 2 or 3 yards here, and then another 3 or 4 yards. If they can keep their 4 yards per carry up, then it's first down.
10:45 left to go, second quarter. Man in motion is Ruiz, right to left, handoff Chacon. Going back to that right side, vacated by Ruiz, gets 4 yards. Down to the 46-yard line, will be a yard short, and here comes another 4th down.
That was a violent run by Chacon. He was fighting. He knew exactly where he needed to get, almost got there. Probably broke 1 or 2 arm tackles, just breaking through that line right there.
Canyon Lake is 2 for 2 on 4th down conversions in this ball game. Will they make it 3 for 3? Need to get to the Hornet 45. To the line are the Hawks. Handoff coming to the near side. Chacon, he's got the 1st down, diving forward to the 44.
Gatesville has all 11 guys in the box. They know what they have to stop, and they are not able to stop it on that play. That's the nice thing about the slot T is, fake them one to the right. You get 3 or 4 defenders to go that way, and you get the 2 yards you need.
Well, you made it sound overly simple there, Travis. They know they have to stop the run, but what we've seen is up the middle, left, right, pre-snap movement, quarterback keepers, and misdirections and counters, and it makes it that much more difficult. Now on 1st down, handoff up the middle is Ruff. And Ruff falling towards the left side of the offensive line. Down to the 39, it's another gain of about 5.
And your comment there is what makes it so difficult for this defense is because they think like I think. All we have to do is stop the run, and we're good. And it's so frustrating whenever you think you're there and you're tackling air.
2nd down and 4, officially gain of 6. Pitch back to Ruff again, left side, again lowers his shoulder and gets through across the 35 to the 34. Should be another Hawk 1st down from there, and it is. Move the chains.
Hawks they're getting these big, they're not really chunk plays, but they're for the Canyon Lake offense. They're getting chunk plays of 5 or 6 yards, making the play calling very easy.
Checking in, Braden Duke once again, coming in to give the play to the offense. Now under 9 minutes to go before the break. Handoff coming to the left side, Chacon, and Chacon runs into the arms of 3 of 4 Hornet defenders, including middle linebacker Will Carroll.
Hornets were not fooled on that play. There only 1 defender went with the fake up to the left, so they had 10 guys there trying to stop that run, and Canyon Lake still was able to pick up 2 yards.
Gain of 2, as Travis mentioned. Now upcoming the 10th play of this drive, only the 2nd drive in this ball game for Canyon Lake. And we have 8 minutes left to go in the 2nd quarter. Strong right line, send a man in motion, Ruiz. Handoff St. John following the motion to the right side, falls forward to the 30. It's going to set up 3rd and 6 from this point.
We've already gotten a 4-minute drive here out of the Canyon Lake offense. They've already doubled Gatesville's 1 drive so far this game in time of possession.
Checking in is Tanner Ferris. We saw him in limited, I think only 2 plays in that opening possession. Coming off of an injury. They fake it. Fulton back to pass. Going down the middle of the field for Ferris, and a flag comes out. It's incomplete. In coverage there for Gatesville is Julon Taylor, and I believe this is going to be pass interference.
And you can hear the Canyon Lake coaches next to me very excited because number 30, JT Green, was running wide open down the right side of the field.
Well, I could hear the Gatesville coaches next to me, Travis, not happy with that call. It's an interesting setup you and I are in. Pass interference is the call against Gatesville. So, Travis, not only does that hurt them by ways of field position, but that was 3rd and longer than what Canyon Lake wants. And now they've gifted Canyon Lake a 1st down via penalty.
And I think Canyon Lake's run the ball now 2 times for 2 first downs, even though it was only 1 completion. Usually when Canyon Lake throws the ball, it is either a 1st down or a touchdown when they throw a completion. So
1st down via penalty. Yeah, there you go.
Rings true.
1st and 10, Canyon Lake at the Hornet 15, moving right to left. Fulton to the line. Handoff is faked up the middle, given up the middle, as I was fooled on a couple of those misdirections. It's Jacob Ruff. Gain of 1 up the middle to the 14.
And that is my first miss as well. I'm doing much better this time than last time.
That makes one of us.
Yeah, they got me that time.
Approaching now 7 minutes left. It almost seems like it's a minute of play. Of Of course, you get the 40 from the play clock, so it's just about that. To the line on second down. Handoff, Ruiz, right side, and the Hornets are there after about 3 or 4 yards. Zach Mueller, the junior, is in on initial contact, limiting the gain to 2, and this is going to be another third and longer than the Hawks want. We'll call it 8.
And Zach Mueller was in on that tackle, and he has more tackles than just about any cornerback I've seen in high school football. That is, I think, his 65th tackle on the year, which is very, very high number for a secondary player, especially a corner.
Back to the line on third down and 8. Rolling to the right is Fulton. Fires the ball to the back corner of the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Hawks. It's Tanner Ferris.
And the Gatesville defenders definitely thought that was the guy in front, and they tried to jump that route, and the ball just went right over their heads to a wide open Ferris in the end zone. That's a great throw.
That's a good point, Travis. They had a trailing a receiver trailing at about the 3-yard line. The ball was thrown in this direction. Initially, I thought it was intended for him as well, but it goes over him and the 2 defenders there into the arms of Tanner Ferris. Lorette on to kick the extra point. It's a sidewinder, but it is good. 6:17 left to go before the break, and our score is Canyon Lake 14 and Gatesville 7. You're listening to High School Football on the Hawks Network.
The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
Canyon Lake 2 for 2 on their offensive possessions and 2 touchdowns to show for it. This one, the rare pass play. Ben Fulton perfect tonight. The one incompletion was wiped out because of a penalty of pass interference. Other than that, got a first down and got a touchdown on the last drive. 13-yard touchdown pass to Tanner Ferris. And with the extra point, Canyon Lake has a 14-7 lead. The ball teed up for Trenton Lorette. 6:17 left to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, that was only a 6-minute drive because they ran out of bounds once, and then the penalty that you discussed.
Find a way to critique everything. A high short kick to the outside is taken by Carroll at the 20-yard line, 25-yard line, comes up to the middle of the field and met by a couple of Hawks. Check that. That is Zach Mueller, number 5, in for Gatesville.
Parker Reno was very excited about that special teams play that he just made.
Why not?
Showing a celebration that I haven't seen any celebrations from the Canyon Lake team other than groups jumping up and down. He was pumped.
Typically reserved, for sure. Now can the Hawks defense get a stop? 1st and 10 Gatesville. Moving left to right from the 30. Man in motion is Byer. Give it to him on an end around, trying to find a way to get through a crease. Finds it, spins his way outside of the 30. Check that, 35. Falls forward to the 37. It'll be a gain of 7. And there is a stoppage of play. There is a flag down. I see it now as the players have started to go to their separate sides of the field. Exposes the flag at the 34. Holding is the indication. And this will go against Gatesville. So kind of a penalty-free beginning to this ball game, Travis. But now we've seen 2 big penalties go against Gatesville. The pass interference on the last defensive possession and now a holding penalty.
Yeah, and you do see a lot of holding penalties in plays like that with reverses and whatnot because the offensive linemen are somewhat exposed compared to a normal running player at the middle. They're a little bit outside, a little bit more in the ref's eyes, and a lot of times they'll try and hook these smaller secondary players and linebackers are trying to get outside, and they get called for it.
Gatesville trying to snap a 3-game losing streak and advance in the Texas State playoffs. Down 14-7. Handoff. It's Mueller, right side, runs into a wall of Hawks. And this will go for minimum game. I believe J.T. Green is in there on the stop defensively.
Yeah, and these corners are lining up in kind of a zone coverage, watching the quarterback, watching the running back. Definitely have safety help over the top on these long situations like that first and 20.
Richard Rosas also in on coverage there for Canyon Lake. Sets up a 3rd down and 12 after the gain of 3. Truss in the backfield. Handoff up the middle is fake. Truss on a quarterback keeper across the 35-40 with a burst of speed into the Hawks secondary. Wrestled down by Parker Reno, and it should be enough for a Hornet first down, and it is.
That was a big run by the quarterback. There's a big hole off of the fake handoff, and he was able to break 2 or 3 tackles. We talked about it earlier. He's one of the biggest guys on the field for Gatesville, and he's just able to bust through that Canyon Lake defense.
4:30 left to go here before halftime. Gatesville with their second possession, moving the football now to their own 40-yard line, moving left to right. Truss barking out orders to his offensive line, retreats back into the shotgun. Hawks showing blitz and stoppage of play here. There is a delay of game as the play clock ran out. Travis, I think that as the Hawks were showing blitz, it kind of delayed Truss a little bit, kept his eye off the clock, and another penalty goes against the Hornets.
Yeah, at first I thought that it was a false start because I'm not sure what happened there. I think you're right, it was a delay of game. Looked like a false start as well. They showed that blitz off the side, and he would have gotten there.
Yeah, I thought that late movement by the Canyon Lake defense just spooked him a little bit. 1st and 15, Truss back to pass, right side, curl routes, got it. Coming inside Hawk territory at the 35-30. One man to beat, and he will not. Forced out of bounds. That is Tyler Lewis, the speedster, who has now beaten Canyon Lake for big gains twice.
And they saw what I saw a second ago. They saw that cover 2. They were able to get somebody out in the flats to get that corner to jump, and then they hit the curl route right in between where the safety and the corner are supposed to cover. And then he was able to turn it upfield for a huge gain.
Ball now to the Canyon Lake 12. As Gatesville showing their ability to move the football in big chunks as well against this Hawk defense. To the Hawk 12-yard line. Big running back is J.T. Miller behind Truss, who is now under center. And an offset eye. Handoff to Miller, right side. The Hawks are there to clog it up. Tackle made, Jacob Neal.
And these Gatesville offensive linemen they came ready to try and knock people down. They are finishing blocks on Canyon Lake pretty much every play. And that was another one. Ball went to the left, and big number 73 for Gatesville. Austin Lee just kept driving his Canyon Lake defender until refs blew the whistle.
Richard Rosas also again on the tackle for Canyon Lake. Back to pass. Truss on 2nd down and 9. Finds a receiver in the near side flat. Is thrown near the sideline out of bounds. Number 9 for Gatesville, Seth Trotter, making the catch and thrown out of bounds at the 5.
You see right there how much Canyon Lake respects the running threat of Jet Truss. They split it out with 5 wide receivers, but Canyon Lake kept 2 linebackers in the box anyways, which gives them numbers on the outside. But they know Jet can take off anytime he wants to.
3rd and 3 for Gatesville. Lewis in the backfield with Truss. 3 receivers to the left. Fake it to Lewis. Truss on a keeper. Clogged up at the line of scrimmage. Makes a man miss and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Gatesville. Travis, it looked like the Hawks were there at the line of scrimmage, but Jet Truss showing you he is tough to bring down. He gets into the end zone.
Yeah, Canyon Lake was there. Just a bunch of broken tackles. They hit the fake immediately. They had Jet in the backfield. He broke that one. They had him at the 3. He broke that one too. And the Canyon Lake defensive coaches are putting up their playbooks. I don't think they expect to see any more plays this half.
Kick by Saldivar is good. 2:37 left to go before the break. We have a tie ball game. It's Canyon Lake 14 and Gatesville 14. You're listening to Hawk Football on the Hawk Network.
Make memories of a lifetime this Thanksgiving weekend at Bernie's 18th Annual Dickens on Main celebration, Friday and Saturday, November 24th and 25th. Stroll Main Street Snowy Wonderland as you enjoy live ice sculpting, a 60-foot snow slide, photos with Santa, and of course holiday shopping along Bernie's Hill Country Mile. Dickens on Main features fun children's activities, live performances like Bah Humbug, a one-man Christmas carol, horse-drawn carriages, food merchants, and amazing concerts each night. And admission is free. Visit dickensonmain.com for all the details.
Back at Cedar Park, Texas is Gupton Stadium, just outside of Vista Ridge High School up here in the greater Austin area. Gatesville responds. It's a 7-play drive, covers 70 yards, a 3-yard touchdown run by Jet Truss is your score, and our game is tied 14-14 with 2:37 left to go before the break. As you mentioned it, Travis, given what this Canyon Lake offense has been doing, you could expect that this might be the last possession before the half.
Yeah, Gatesville's 2 possessions put together are less than Canyon Lake's shortest possession.
It's incredible. Saldivar sends this one high and short. It's off the chest plate and muffed by the Canyon Lake up man. He jumps back on it at the 31, avoids disaster. It was Ruiz there who signaled for a fair catch, unable to haul it in. And Travis, you get weird bounces sometimes, and sometimes that weird bounce is a lucky one, and it kept that the bounce stayed in front of Ruiz and he was able to jump on it.
Yeah, it's a goofy shaped ball. There's a lot of excitement on that play from both sets of stadiums, or both sets of stands, all the players, all the coaches. That was a huge play with these 2 offenses that have scored on every possession so far.
To the line are the Hawks. Ruiz will take it on the right side. Some running room. He's out in the open. Across the 45, now into Hornet territory. Across the 35-30, finally brought down from behind on a big hit by Joseph Ruiz. Making the tackle from behind for Gatesville is Austin Bayer.
That was a huge play for this Canyon Lake offense, obviously, but with only 2.5 minutes left in the game, they needed at least one big play to be able to get in range to score on this drive, and that was it.
Keep in mind, Gatesville will get the opening kickoff to start the second half. Handoff goes up the middle on first down across the 25, barreling forward to the 24-yard line. It's a good run on first down by, I believe that's Micah St. John.
Yeah, I love watching Micah St. John run the ball. He's not the biggest guy out there, but he will take on anybody and try and run them over.
Tough, powerful runner at 5'9", 195 pounds. Able to keep momentum going on a gain of 6. Ball to the Gatesville 24. Movement on the line. Handoff is a counter. Chacon, left side, nothing doing there. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. If so, that's a generous spot. It'll be no gain and 3rd and 4 for the Hawks.
And Gatesville's defenders are doing something interesting. I've seen it on a couple plays now. I didn't want to mention it earlier. The defensive line is kind of cutting at the offensive line's legs just to cover up those holes. We've been talking about how this is, just assignment football, and they're covering up those assignments with bodies. And I've seen a couple times that the Canyon Lake runners have just tripped over the line because they're just lying there in their hole.
3rd and 4, Tanner Ferris checks in. They give it to him on an end around, trying to turn the corner. Gets a block at the 20, and he's got a hawk first down, just shy of the 15-yard line. Actually, they'll give him the 14. Good run there by Tanner to stop the clock at 1:06.
And that was really important for him to get out of bounds there. There's a minute left for them to go 15 yards. That's, 3-4 plays with this offense. So
it could be 2.
It could be.
If they wanted to, but they want to take their time here. All 3 timeouts left to the disposal of Charlie Drum to see how they play it here. 1st and 10 from the Hornet 14. Back to the line, handoff. I believe that's Ruff. Left side across the 10, rugby scrum look. Gets 4 yards there on a good play on first down, and Charlie Drum, as we mentioned, takes that timeout there. Actually, I think that was Ruiz, 34, on the carry.
And both teams, up until that, both teams had all 3 of their timeouts left. Now, Canyon Lake only has 2 left, 55 seconds at the 10. They've got plenty of time here to run whatever they need to run to get to the end zone.
Don't miss the UIL Football State Championships on December 20th through 23rd at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Tickets are available for purchase now through Ticketmaster. For information, visit uiltexas.org. With 55 seconds left to go before the break, tie ball game at 14-14. A little bit more about this Gatesville program. Notable alumni, Torian Henderson, a famed player from Texas Tech, a Gatesville Hornet alum, followed by Bulldog Turner and Cotton Davidson. Some of the best names in pro football from the 30s and 50s called Gatesville home, and Dan Edwards as well, first round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1948, and has a dubious honor that we'll get to here after this 2nd down and 6. Handoff is it's a keeper by Ben Fulton. He'll go to the left side across the 5 into the end zone. Touchdown Hawks.
That was a great, and you even called it as a handoff. That was a great fake.
It was.
By the quarterback there. He really followed through with it. Running back did a great job, and he walked in. I mean, he got touched the one, but he was getting in the end zone as soon as he was done taking the handoff.
Ben Fulton takes it in. That is his 12th touchdown, or check that, 3rd touchdown running the ball. Lorette on to attempt the extra point. This ball is up, and it is good. Travis, let's keep it here with 50 seconds left to go but before the break. We were talking about the notable alumni from Gatesville and left at Dan Edwards and dubious honor. And it's not an NFL record. It's a pro football record. As we mentioned, he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers and elected to play his football professionally for the Brooklyn Football Dodgers in the 1950s. But the honor, the shortest kickoff return for a touchdown of 17 yards.
Yeah, I don't think there's any video of it. I was trying to figure out how that would even work.
I figure there's got to be a lot of penalties to push the ball back, and then perhaps an onside kick. But then another thing comes to mind here, Travis. I'm thinking conventional football here, and we're talking about football in the 50s. So I venture to guess there's been some rule changes since then, and it's probably a brand of football, obviously, that we have not seen.
Yeah, as I said, I was trying to picture in my head, and I could not get there, so I gave up. I would like to figure out how that happened, but there's a reason it's a record.
50 seconds left to go before the half. Plenty of time for this Gatesville offense, Travis, to at least perhaps get into field goal range, but they've shown the ability to move the football quickly against this Hawk defense.
Yeah, they've got a lot of very fast receivers on the outside and a quarterback that can get it to them.
Kickoff taken at the 10-yard line. Coming up the field with some room is Bayer. Hurdles a tackle at the 35 and finally brought down by a couple of Hawks. Among them, number 1, Lester Boehm, and Brandon Robinson, the 5'8", 160-pound sophomore.
Yeah, there was a lot of running room on that kickoff return, and he ran into his own player that was trying to block for him. Derek Baird almost took that one to the house and just would have made us eat our words a little bit there.
At 43 seconds, still plenty of time. Gatesville moving left to right. 3 receivers here to the near side. Ball on the far hash. Out of the gun is Truss. Back to pass. Wide receiver screen set up, and it's caught. In the open is a Hornet receiver across the 45. It's Zach Mueller once again. Gain of 12, another first down.
And that was a great tackle there by Parker Reno. He's been all over the field today. Caught him from behind and saved a lot of yards.
1st and 10 from the 47. Quarterback draw by Truss. Now into Hawk territory. Dives forward across the 45, shy of the first down. And Gatesville will take a timeout there. Gain of 9 for Jet Truss.
And this is a very quick drive so far by Gatesville. They've gone 30 yards in 20 seconds. And as I've talked about earlier, they've got a very good field goal kicker. I don't know what his range is, but I think they might be getting close to it.
Again, I mentioned that I like watching kickers warming up. I would say if I'm Coach Kyle Cooper for Gatesville that I would be comfortable from 40 to 45 would probably be the limit for David Saldivar. He's 5 of 6 on the year, but the information was kind of tough to get from Coach Cooper, and he did not tell us the length of those field goals kicked by Saldivar, so we don't know that. What we could tell you is what we've seen through warm-ups and his leg power on kickoff, so I would feel comfortable if I were him from perhaps 40 to 45. That means you got to get to about the 25-yard line in order to do that, and that would be, about 24 yards away, I guess.
Which is about one play with the way this offense has been moving the football.
And 2 timeouts for Gatesville, 2 timeouts for Canyon Lake as well. 2nd down and 1 at the Hawk 44. 2 receivers to the near side, 3 to the far. Come to the near side on a quick out route. Ball's delivered and caught. And out of bounds is Hunter Dreyer. It should be enough for a Hornet first down, and it is. It stops the clock also at 19 seconds. On the coverage there for Canyon Lake is Nick Rivera.
Yeah, that was a really good route by the receiver there. Was able to get the cornerback to back up, and I think the quarterback hit him on the wrong shoulder, but he made good adjustment. Was able to bring that ball in.
1st and 10 from the Hawk 38. Back to pass again. A little out route again, caught by Dreyer, and again forced out by Rivera. So same play and same result. It'll be a gain of about 6, and 15 seconds remain. Player gets out of bounds. Ball spotted at the 33.
Yeah, I think Canyon Lake's okay with giving up those 5-6-yard plays. And they've gotten them twice now.
15 seconds. It would be a 50-yard field goal from here. Truss back to pass. Steps up in the pocket. Has Lewis at the 20-yard line trying to make a man miss. Stiff arm but pushed out of bounds. And here comes a couple of flags. This is going to be interesting. In coverage there was Lester Boehm on the receiver Lewis. And Travis, this might go face mask, but is it offense or defense is the question.
It looks like face mask on the offense to me. But the refs have not – oh, no, it's on Canyon Lake.
This call is going to go against the Hawks. There was a stiff arm there by Lewis as he was going out of bounds, and I thought perhaps he grabbed the face mask of Lester Boehm. And Travis, I mean, we're high up here in the press box at Gupton Stadium, and that play was to the far sideline. So it was hard for us to get a good look at it, but the referees called that against Canyon Lake. With the penalty, pushed the ball down just outside of the 10-yard line to the 10.5 with 7 seconds. I believe Gatesville would have time for one shot at the end zone, and that's about it.
Yeah, Gatesville's calling timeout here, and that's smart because Gatesville has to be very smart on this play. They can't mess around in the backfield and get a sack or take too long for the plays to develop. If it's not there, you got to throw it away and try and take your 3 points, and I'm sure that's what Coach Cooper is telling his offense right now.
A couple things come to mind. One, Travis is a former field goal kicker. I always have this saying, reserve the right to kick the field goal and get the points. As you're right, any type of forced play or trying to fight for an extra yard could result in a fumble or an interception. And if you take a sack, you risk pushing your field goal kicker back. With 7 seconds, the initial thought here from me, Travis, is a quick out or something like that, but you don't really need extra yards for your field goal kicker. So the question becomes, do you dial up a play, and how much time would that take to score, or at least design the play to score from 11 yards out?
Yeah, I imagine they're going to try and spread it out here. Quarterback's told one read and, either take off or throw the ball away. But you got to leave it in your quarterback's hands here and quarterback's head and let him decide what to do.
From the 11-yard line, 1st and 10. 7 seconds left. Canyon Lake up 21-14. Gatesville threatening here. Send a man in motion from left to right. Empty backfield. Back to pass. Truss. Crossing route over the middle. Ball is too far and incomplete. Zach Mueller is asking for pass interference. Travis, that might have been just a ball that was uncatchable.
Gatesville only had 10 players on offense on that play.
I noticed that as well. As they signaled the running back into motion, they had an empty backfield, but 2 wide receivers to the left and 2 to the right instead of 3.
It's not what you want out of a timeout.
No.
And I looked and I was like, maybe they have 6 offensive linemen, but they did not. They only had 10 guys on their offense, and that is not what you want out of a timeout if you're Gatesville.
With 3 seconds left, Gatesville calls a timeout, and Travis, when you do play-by-play, you rely on crutches and just instinct sometimes. So when you see empty backfield, you think somewhere there's got to be 3 or 4 wide receivers on one side. You don't call empty backfield 2 receivers either way. And that was exactly the design of the play. So confused both of us, and unfortunately that's one less receiver for Gatesville to run out there. And ultimately it's a bad pass. It had a little slant route. intended for Mueller, and I think Trustis missed him.
I think you're right. And now they're going to bring out that field goal kicker.
Put the tee down at the 17-yard line to make this a 27-yard effort from David Saldivar from the far hash and out of the hold of Will Carroll. Snap is down, kick is up, on the way, and this kick is no good. He pushed it to the right, and Travis, that barely even had the leg. Here we were talking, would it be 40, would it be 45, and that one barely had the distance from 27.
I think he tried to baby that one in there, tried to make sure he didn't miss it accuracy. I mean, he did kick one out of bounds already. It might be in his head, but he just missed that a little bit right.
Those kickers, they're something else. Field goal's no good, and we've come to the half here at Gupton Stadium. Our score, Canyon Lake 21 and Gatesville 14. We'll step aside. On the other side of these commercial breaks, halftime coverage from Cedar Park. You're listening to the Hawks Network.
The wait is over. Chip and Joe are back with more Fixer Upper. I love you.
You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. You slayed it.
Whoa!
You killed it.
This is amazing.
Yes!
Fixer Upper, Tuesday night at 9, only on HGTV.
Watch HGTV, GVTC, Digital Cable Channel 578. GVTC, just plain smart.
We are the UIL.
From the coaches
to the players to the educators.
We've been in your shoes.
Extracurricular activities are essential to the development of our youth.
From proposed rule changes
to the relaxation of transfer rules, we keep it fair.
New academic contests, we hear you loud and clear.
New events are music to our ears. We just added film. That's a wrap.
Educational activities help young people become productive citizens.
From staph infections to steroid use.
To cardiac and concussions.
Health and safety is a priority.
Heat, heart, and health history.
From heat-related illness to head injuries to heart-related issues to the medical history of students.
Your well-being is our priority because we are the UIL.
We are the UIL.
We are the UIL.
We are the UIL.
Daddy's gotta go to work.
Uh-oh. Sorry?
Watch FX, GVTC, Digital Cable Channel 527. GVTC, just plain smart.
Whether you're out at the beach or chilling poolside, the summer heat is here and Music Choice is turning it up. Chill out with the latest music from your favorite kids artists and more. Your music lives here on Music Choice.
Hey guys, it's Sophia Carson here. Check out all of my music videos available on Music Choice On Demand. Available on GVTC. Just go to Free On Demand and select Music Choice.
And welcome back to Cedar Park, Texas, just north of our state capital of Austin. On the campus of Vista Ridge High School, it is Gupton Stadium. Our score at the break, Canyon Lake 21 and Gatesville 14. As if you're just joining us, there has only been 3 possessions aside. It's been mostly because of the clock management and dominance for Canyon Lake. And Travis, on that last drive, you had Gatesville threatened with the field goal, and they miss it from 27 yards out with the field goal kicker that's obviously capable and has a leg. That one barely had the distance and was to the right, and you and I were talking in the break, for any golfer that's out there, if you think that you don't have to hit it as far and you tell yourself nice, smooth, easy swing, you might actually be a little bit too relaxed, and you actually end up hitting one of your worst shots of the day. It's a thing that also happens to field goal kickers. You might think to yourself, I don't need to kick it 40 yards. But then, as I've coached field goal kickers before in my day, I say there's no penalty for kicking it farther than you need to. You try to baby it, and something like that just happens where you miss a makeable field goal from 27 yards out.
Yeah, he pushed it a little bit right, and kicked it a little bit soft, and he was kicking himself on the sideline. Watched him throw the tee in anger after the play. He knows he can make that field goal, and he's made it a couple times this year. So.
Sounds in the background, that of the PA system, as the Gatesville dance team is out entertaining the crowd here at Gupton Stadium. Travis, it's been 3 possessions for this Canyon Lake offense. Almost all of them, save for the last one where they were basically with their version of the 2-minute offense. The other 2 possessions were double-digit plays or more, and they end in a touchdown run by Joseph Ruiz and a touchdown pass, Ben Fulton to Tanner Ferris. It is textbook game control by running the football. It's a theory that you hear a lot, but rarely do you see it as executed as well as this.
Yeah, I mean, the first drive was over 8 minutes. The second drive was over 6 minutes. And the third drive was their 2-minute offense, and I think it was about a 4-minute drive. So, I mean, they have the ability to move pretty quickly, which is what they did on that last drive. They had that huge chunk, and then they were able to go about 25 yards in a minute and a half. But they're just getting 4 yards and a cloud of dust every play, and that's a first down.
The Gatesville Hornets are trying to snap a 3-game losing streak that started in Week 9 after they began 2017 7-0, losses to China Springs and Waco La Vega, both of those on the road by big margins. To China Spring 43-16 and to La Vega 49-7, and then in the season finale, senior night at home versus the Liberty Hill Panthers, a closer game, 42-35, a game that had Gatesville down at one point 28-7, but a 21-point comeback by the Hornets made it a tie ball game at the end of 3. It ended going possession for possession scores, and Liberty ends up that ball game on top, 42-35. The one thing I take from that ball game, Travis, Liberty Hill never punted the football, and every possession they had ended in a touchdown, except for the one that ended the ball game and the final possession to run out the clock. And it's a Liberty Hill team, much like Canyon Lake, that likes to run the football. In fact, they only had 12 passing yards last week versus these Gatesville Hornets, and 573 yards on the ground. What that tells me is this Gatesville defense is having trouble stopping the run, and that's kind of what we saw play out there in the first half.
I mean, going back the last 3 games, they gave up 42, 49, and 43. They didn't force a punt last game. They haven't forced a punt yet this game. Gatesville's going to have to make a stop against the run if they want to win this game. They're already down 7. They can't catch them. I mean, they can catch them, but if they keep scoring.
One of the things you and I are both Spurs fans. One of the things we hear in basketball coverage is the ability to go 2 for 1 at the end of a quarter or end of a half, when the shot clock is there is a difference between maybe 15 and 20 seconds, and the game clock is down to 30 or 40 seconds. Before the end of the quarter or the half, you have the ability to score quickly, and then because of the shot clock, get it back and essentially go 2 for 1. Where I draw that parallel into football is Gatesville will have the ball to start the third quarter. You had an opportunity to end the second quarter with some type of points, albeit a field goal or a touchdown, and you let that opportunity slip by, and now Canyon Lake has had it 3 possessions, you've had it 3 possessions, and you're down a 1-possession score. In a game like this, Travis, it seems like the margin for error for either side is going to be small, and so far, all the errors in the margins have been against Gatesville.
Yeah, I mean, Gatesville's had – I talk about their defense. They've had 4 plays that could have gone either way that all went against them. They had the pass interference call. They had the almost fumble on the kickoff return. They had the hold, which negated an 8-yard gain on first down and backed them up. They were able to come out of that one okay, and then they missed the field goal. I mean, there's just a couple of plays that are the difference in this game right now, and if that fumble goes the other way, this could be a 14-point game the other way. It's 2 very closely matched teams playing some pretty good football out there, especially on the offensive side.
He's Travis Steele. I'm Ben Campos. Again, our score at the break is Canyon Lake 21 and Gatesville 14. Well, last week was Veterans Day across our great nation, and thank you if you're out there and have served for our country. We, of course, thank you for that. And here at WIC Productions, we have a special montage there devoted to all our veterans. We'll step aside here on our coverage from Cedar Park. When we come back, we'll have a salute to our veterans here on the Hawks Network.
In college football, you don't have the luxury of looking ahead. Every Saturday's a different way of destroying your season. They'll make the ground shake. They'll make your eyes burn. They'll show you hate and disrespect unlike anything you've ever seen. Don't think about January when there's a Wolverine coming for your face in September. The biggest game, the only game, is the one you're playing.
It is November 11th, at the 11th month, the 11th day of the 11th hour, which was when the armistice of World War I was signed. And that's why we have Veterans Day on 11th of November. And now our kids recognize, and our families recognize, the sacrifices and the time that we spent to do what we could to provide for our families and friends.
On behalf of Central, we would like to thank our veterans for their attendance this morning. Thank you for your service, thank you for your sacrifice, and thank you for making America safer. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
It gives me a chance to remember the guys that I served with, fought with. A few of them watched die. That's what Veterans Day means to me. And it gives me a chance to salute them, which in the military is the greatest respect that you can offer someone is to salute them.
First one, we will put our country first. We will never forget that our efforts are directed at making us successful. We will work for efficiency. We will treat all equipment material entrusted to us. We will set the example. It goes all the way down to where, in case I don't know, we will ask somebody that does. So obviously the military feels we is very, very important.
My mother always told me that service was the highest calling. And I believed that I was born into a country where I was guaranteed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I wanted to make sure I guaranteed that for my daughter and those to come.
And this was so inspiring to watch this thing. Everybody says these kids don't say the national anthem or say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore, sing the national anthem. They do right here, by gosh. And it's a marvelous thing. And the kids are so full of spirit and everything. I just love to come up here and watch this show. It was marvelous. I mean, these kids are on the ball.
It's a remembrance of all the sailors, Army, soldiers, airmen that have put their lives and sacrificed themselves to ensure that we have freedom in this great country.
I've been doing this for a couple of years here now, and it just is a really great feeling to watch them help us celebrate Veterans Day.
I think it's real important. It brings back a lot of memories, and we got to think about the people that are in the service and people that maybe could go in the service.
To support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. What does that really mean? To some, those are just words that are written in the history books of our great nation. However, to a veteran, those words have a much deeper meaning.
Keep the faith and remember them. The chair is empty. They are missing. Remember all of you. From sea to shining sea.
We are the UIL.
From the coaches
to the players,
to the educators.
We've been in your shoes.
Extracurricular activities are essential to the development of our youth.
From proposed rule changes
to the relaxation of transfer rules, we keep it fair.
New academic contests, we hear you loud and clear.
New events are music to our ears. We just added film. That's a wrap.
Educational activities help young people become productive citizens.
From staph infections to steroid use,
to cardiac and concussions.
Health and safety is a priority.
Heat, heart, and health history.
From heat-related illness to head injuries to heart-related issues to the medical history of students.
Your well-being is our priority because we are the UIL.
We are the UIL.
We are the UIL.
We are the UIL.
Welcome back to Gupton Stadium on the campus of Vista Ridge High School in Cedar Park, Texas. Ben Campos, Travis Steele with you. The Hawks enjoying a 21-14 lead at the break. Right now, we will leave you with the sounds in the background, that of the Canyon Lake High School Marching Band.
If you bank at Frost, we'll help keep your money safe. If you use your Frost debit card, the chip will make it more secure. If there's a suspicious transaction on your card, you'll get an alert. If you do, you can freeze your card with the Frost app. If you lose your phone, Touch ID login will help keep the app secure. Of course, if all you need is help from people who care, we've got that too.
Tom Brady, that's a mic drop.
This is football, and this is how it is. Let's just get right to it.
Start your game day with Game Day Morning, football's first pregame show every Sunday.
Watch NFL Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 579. GVTC, just plain smart.
And welcome back to Cedar Park, Texas. Halftime festivities winding down. Canyon Lake with a 21-14 lead at the half over Gatesville. Checking out some scores from around the area. The first round of high school football playoffs in the state of Texas. Winner of this ball game will play the winner of Pleasanton and Rio Grande City Grula. And right now Pleasanton has a 25-9 halftime lead in that ball game. Keeping it on this side of the bracket for Region 4, Class 4A Division 1, Waco La Vega with a 33-14 halftime lead over Fredericksburg. Kingsville and Lavernia are matched up in the first round. Kingsville on top of that, 28-6. On the bottom half of the bracket, Somerset holds a lead over Zapata by a score of 23-3. District foes of District 13 4A and 14 4A matching up. China Spring has a 35-0 lead over the Taylor Ducks. And Liberty Hill is also shutting out Bernie by a score of 21-0. And the other score from the bracket is Rockport Fulton 19, La Feria 7. So those are scores from our bracket of the Texas high school football playoffs. Making the jump over to 6A and the schools that are in District 27 6A. Our sister school, Smithson Valley, is holding on to a 37-3 lead over Jay. That game can be found on our sister station, the Rangers Network, if you want to check in to see how Smithson Valley's doing. Other scores from that division, O'Connor has a 17-10 lead at the half over the Clemens Buffaloes. Judson 34, Warren 7. And the Steel Knights hold a 31-3 lead over the Brennan Bears. Those are some halftime scores in playoff football from around the area. Here at Gupton Stadium, the ball's teed up for Trenton Lorette and Lester Bain. Ball teed up at the 40. As the third quarter is about to be underway, Canyon Lake kicking into a wind. Bain with the fake. High, short, spinning kick by Lorette is taken at the 35. By an up man and immediately tackled. Jared Rowe, the up man, did not signal for a fair catch. Hit immediately, and Gatesville will start there. 1st and 10 from the 35.
And that is the third straight time they've kicked a short kick. I do not think that they want to kick it deep to Derek Bayer back there. We've seen him on a couple of these plays. He definitely has the speed to break it open. He almost broke that one kick return out a second ago, and that was one they kicked it a little bit too deep. So
ball here on the near hash. 1st and 10 from the 35. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Empty backfield, looking to the right side. Quick slant pass in and out of the hands of Zach Miller to start this ball game. To start this third quarter, rather. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
That was a very, very hard throw by Jet. I don't think you need to put that much on it. I mean, it's playoff football. Nerves are coming, and he saw someone open and just rifled it in there.
Perhaps pressing a little bit. Mueller coming into this ball game, 28 catches, 401 yards, and 4 touchdowns for the junior. Same formation on 2nd down and 10. Design quarterback sneak. Truss comes in across the 40 into Hawk territory. Ball comes out at the end, but he was down. Flag is back in the backfield. This will be a hold against Gatesville.
And something I pointed at earlier on the Canyon Lake, they split out. Whenever Gatesville splits out in a 5-receiver set, Canyon Lake keeps those 6 guys in the box, and they don't put too many defenders out there because they're scared of the quarterback run, and that's exactly why.
Has enough. I mean, not the speedster, but elusive enough to make guys miss. He is the leading ball carrier for this Hornet team, 606 yards on 94 carries, 10 rushing touchdowns for this quarterback. The running back, TJ Miller, who we haven't really seen too much of, has 81 carries for 514 yards. Send a man in motion out of the backfield. You have 2 receivers either way and a tight end set. So pass into the flat. It's Lewis across the 30 to the 32, pushed out of bounds on a gain of 7, just 3 yards shy of the original line of scrimmage.
And Gatesville's coming out with an empty set, not very much in the backfield. They're really trying to spread Canyon Lake out already in this third quarter. I mean, I know it's only been 3 plays, but it's been spread them out, throw it, spread them out, quarterback run, spread them out, throw it again.
Well, we have our first defensive stop here, 3rd and 13. Bat to pass is Truss. Little out route is delivered, and out of the stretches of his receiver, Derek Byer, who pulls up lame a little bit after running that route. He is walking gingerly back to his sideline. Ball goes incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
And he's staying out there on the punt team, but if they lose Derek Byer, that is a huge, huge shot for this Gatesville team. As we mentioned earlier, he had over 250 yards receiving last game and is their leading receiver on the year by quite a bit.
Also serves as their punter as he's back at the 18-yard line. Roll out to the right, rugby style. Right foot into it, high, wobbly kick. It goes over Lorette's head as he hangs his head in disbelief there. Ball bounces at the 20, rolls down to the 11-yard line. Before being down, you could tell that Trenton Lorette made a mistake there, and he'll let you know it. Still has his hands up over his helmet there.
And we were talking about good bounces, bad bounces, and he's really distraught about that, but it was a nice bounce for the Hawks that only went 8 more yards after the ball hit. That easily could have gone all the way down to 2 or 3, and I don't know how it didn't, to be honest.
Ball hit hard and favorable bounce there. So long field ahead of Canyon Lake. 1st and 10 from their own 11 as the Hawk defense forced a punt. 10:30 left to go, 3rd quarter. Handoff Ruiz on 1st down, left side of the Hawk line. Gets to the 15 on a gain of 4.
As we talked about it a little bit, it's so much easier trying to watch that ball from up here rather than down there. It's much easier time to watch it. And Gatesville's doing a pretty good job of staying true to where they are. The problem with it is they cannot get any stops in the backfield. And that was another, looked like, they stuffed them, but it was a 4-yard carry there for Canyon Lake.
2nd down and 6 for the Hawks. Man in motion, Ruiz from right to left. Come back to the right side. Handoff into round. Across the 20-yard line. Should have enough for a 1st down. It will be dependent on the spot. That is Tristan Chacon, who came into this ball game 110 carries, 887 yards of rushing, and 13 touchdowns. Does get the ball enough for a 1st down to the 22. So a fresh set of downs for Canyon Lake. And Travis, I don't want to speak in hyperbole, but this is a very important drive for Canyon Lake. If you drive the length of the field and take a lot of time off, you could also have the chance to extend it by 2 possessions. Hand off to St. John up the middle. Squirts forward across the 25 to the 28, and a good gain there on 1st down.
Yeah, and on the play before that one, they went to the next one pretty quick, so I wasn't able to talk about it. You can tell that the Canyon Lake offensive line knows how important this drive is. We were able to see Jacob Foster out there 8 yards down past the line of scrimmage, finishing his block, trying to get every single yard he can for Chacon. And the offensive line knows that if they can get this drive and make it another 8-minute drive, put this ball game almost out of reach.
2nd down and 4. Handoff near side. Ruiz spins out of a tackle at the 30. Dragging players with him. Still trucking guys across the 35. Enough for a Hawk 1st down to the 38.
There's another great block right there by the receiver that was coming around. I didn't see which number it was, but he was laying out, getting the secondary to have to second guess if they were going to try and come in there and hit somebody or dodge a block. And he decided to dodge a block, and they got the 1st down.
to the 38-yard line. Hawks quick to the line once again. Everybody set. Fulton, handoff. Chacon, left side, has a seam and some running room across the 50. Tristan Chacon, can he do it across the 20? 10, into the end zone, touchdown Canyon Lake. 62 yards.
What a huge run right there by Chacon. And it's really interesting whenever Canyon Lake gets up there on offense, you see 7 hands on the ground, which is not very often. You get to see that in offense nowadays. They've got 7 guys, hands on the ground on the line of scrimmage, and then they've got another guy right behind them, hand on the ground behind the line of scrimmage. They've got 8 guys that are jumping off the snap, just trying to hit somebody.
You used to say hand in the dirt. Well, no more dirt on these fields anymore, but point is still made as Trenton Lorette on to tack on the extra point, and he does. 8:32 left to go in the third quarter. Canyon Lake extends the lead. Our new score, Canyon Lake 28, Gatesville 14. You're listening to Hawk Football on the Hawks Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
And welcome back to Gupton Stadium. Canyon Lake extends the lead 28-14. And Travis, we mentioned in pregame what a tough district that Gatesville comes from with Waco, La Vega, Chino Spring, and Liberty Hill. Big programs out of that district, and what Canyon Lake was fighting for last week versus Taylor was not only the district championship, but the right as district winner to take on the 4th place team out of that district. The rest of District 14 4A struggling against this better district from north of the Austin area, and Canyon Lake having their way right now with Gatesville 28-14 as Lorette sends this one high and short on the kickoff to the 25, gathered by a Nutman who slips a tackle at the 30, falls forward to the 35. That is number 9, Seth Trotter.
You know what I've not seen yet this game is an offsides on the kickoff, which is a big improvement for Canyon Lake.
The last time we saw them versus Fredericksburg, there was about 3 or 4 of those. So they've cleaned that up. They had a bye week in between that and a game versus Taylor to do so. 1st and 10, Gatesville going right to left. Truss comes to the line now under center. Sending man in motion from right to left. It's Derek Byer comes to the left side, and he is drilled by a couple of Hawks. One goes high, one goes low. Michael Harwell making one of the tackles for Canyon Lake.
And, no limping from Derek Byer either before or after that hit. So whatever was wrong with his hamstring has worked itself out.
Would really be young again, Travis.
Yeah, I'd be in the hospital right now. Yeah. But it's really good to see, especially – for a senior, you don't want to see them go out with injury in a playoff game.
2nd down and 6 after the gain of 4 to the Gatesville 39-yard line. Truss running out to the right. Option look, nowhere to go, and he is tripped up in the backfield. Another big play. Michael Harwell once again, the 6'2", 200-pound senior.
Yeah, Jet tried the old fake pitch, and he was not having it. Michael Harwell was all over that play and made a great tackle in the backfield.
Harwell leads, one of the team leaders, I should say, in tackles with 57. 5 of those for loss. He adds another for a loss there, setting up this 3rd and 5. From the far hash, back to pass, wide receiver screen set up to the near side. It's caught, moving upfield across the 40, now into Hawk territory. Zach Mueller with the haul in there, gets to the Hawk 49 and a fresh set of downs.
Seems like every time that Gatesville needs a play and they go to that screen, it works.
It's there. For sure. Well-timed, well-executed on that play call. 1st and 10 into Hawk territory. 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. Ball here on the near hash. Miller, the running back, They'll set up another receiver screen. Lewis on the right side. Spins forward across the 40. Should have enough for another Hornet first down. Gain of 11 and some rhythm now for this Gatesville offense.
And Byer's starting to limp a little bit again after that gain. He's not going to come out, though. He's not even thinking about it. He's doing a really good job right now for Gatesville, fighting through pain and, still one of the focal points of this offense.
You can see him obviously limping to his spot here on the near side. 12 catches for 271 yards last week versus Liberty Hill. Handoff is fake to Miller. Truss takes it, leaps over a defender at the 35, and a couple of Hawks bring him down at the 33. In there on the tackle for Canyon Lake, Jacob Neal and Rosas.
He's just a big, hard guy to take down. Jet, he's not fast like his name, but he runs hard and gets the yards that he needs to get every time he touches the ball.
2nd down and 5. 2 receivers either way. Ball on the far hash now at the Canyon Lake 33. Quick pass to Mueller on the outside. Gets the block needed in order to get a first down. Tackled from behind, but not after a gain of 7. Tackle made once again by Jacob Neal.
Another screen, another first down. Gatesville's being able to do that, I think, partially because Canyon Lake is keeping so many guys in the box to protect against that quarterback run. They're getting one-on-one on the outside, and they don't really have to make one guy miss. They just have to get a couple yards against that guy and break it open.
Just make it difficult for the one guy not being blocked to get you down, and you should be able to get 4 or 5, and that's how Gatesville is kind of picking apart this Hawk defense. Now to Canyon Lake 26-yard line. 1st and 10. Pass down the seam is incomplete. Intended for Will Carroll, just outside of his reach. 2nd down upcoming.
That was just outside of 3 different people's reach, one in white and 2 in green. That would have had to have been a perfect throw to get that to work, and he almost made it.
Gatesville trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. And in their first playoff appearance since missing out last year after a 4-6 record. On 2nd and 2 from the Canyon Lake 26, 3 receivers here to the near side. Truss, design quarterback sneak once again, and he is drilled at the line of scrimmage. C.J. Parrish making initial contact, the defensive tackle.
No, we got a 3rd and long here. They've been setting up the QB run and the screens, trying to make Canyon Lake decide which one they're going to stop, and they're choosing right now.
Quick to the line, 3rd and 9. The Hawks forced a 3-and-out last time and a punt. Can they make them go pass over the middle, and that's caught. It's Derek Byer across the 5 and into the end zone. Travis didn't even get to complete my thought. They came quick to the line. And a quick strike is into the end zone for Gatesville from 26 yards out.
That is not the matchup that you want if you're Canyon Lake's defense. That is the matchup you want if you're Gatesville. That was their best receiver, Derek Byer, lined up against a linebacker, and he was able to break that route to the inside and walk into the end zone.
Saldivar on for the extra point. It's up, and it is good. 4:47 left to go in the 3rd quarter. And Gatesville responds. Our new score, Canyon Lake 28, Gatesville 21. You're listening to Canyon Lake Football on the Hawks Network.
I'm Jaime Buenteo, produce buyer for H-E-B. We work hard to find the freshest, best produce available. That's why we work with Texas growers to buy local as much as possible. Over 100 million pounds annually. In fact, we sell more produce than any other store in Texas. Grapefruit, corn, blueberries, and tons more. All grown right here in our beautiful backyard and on their way to your store within 24 hours. This is the local Texas Produce Department at H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B.
Don't miss the UIL Football State Championships on December 20th through 23rd at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Tickets available for purchase now through Ticketmaster. For more information, visit UILTexas.org. Ben Campos, Travis Steele, Bo Wick, our executive producer, with you on a November Friday night in the state of Texas. First round of the playoffs, and Canyon Lake has a 28-21 lead. And Gatesville's lined up to kick off here after a 26-yard touchdown pass jet truss to Derek Byer. It's an onside kick, but Canyon Lake is there. They did not surprise the Hawks, who were ready for it. Again, Jacob Neal, what a game he's having tonight. Johnny on the spot gets it 1st and 10, now into Hornet territory at the 49.
Those are always my favorite onside kicks, whenever the kicker is the designated guy to recover. Oh, it's my favorite watching it. The higher the level, the more fun it is watching an NFL kicker try and go up against a bunch of NFL players returning a kick. Is just fantastic.
1st and 10, Canyon Lake into Hornet territory with 4:47 left in the third quarter. Fulton will keep it on a quarterback keeper. Flag is in the backfield. We'll check it. As it is, Fulton gets about 6, and it's a quick call from the official, hold against Canyon Lake. Second penalty on the night for Canyon Lake.
It's something you don't see too often from this Canyon Lake team. There's usually enough guys in there that if they're holding, nobody's able to see it. So,
and the way these running backs are running the football, Travis, they're usually through the hole quick enough before an offensive lineman, could even think about holding.
Exactly.
Push the ball back to the Hawk 41, now no longer in Hornet territory. 1st and 20. 2 receivers to the far sideline, and little Statue of Liberty play, handoff here, coming to the near side with Ruff, and that didn't fool anybody. Dragged down from behind by Owen Sibley, and no gain to the 40.
I wouldn't say it didn't fool anybody, Ben. I had no idea where that ball was.
Didn't fool the one guy it should have fooled, I guess, in Owen Sibley. 61 tackles, 5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss on the year for Sibley. They won't give him credit for a loss there, as it's a gain of 0, but it is a good stop nonetheless to set up 2nd down and 20. Fake it to Chacon. Roll out to the right for Fulton. Delivers. Ball's caught. And out of bounds is J.T. Green near the original line of scrimmage to the 50-yard line. It is a gain of 10.
And Owen Sibley was again in the backfield, and he was very frustrated with his secondary right there, because he almost had a quarterback sack, and instead it's a 10-yard gain. He was there, and he was there fast.
3rd and 11. Need to get to the Hornet 39-yard line. Handoff. Ferris into round. Left side gets a good block from Chacon across the 40. A Hawk 1st down. Across the 30 to the 25 before stepping out of bounds. And there's a flag down.
That was a very, very, very late flag.
And another flag.
One.
Illegal substitution, the call against Canyon Lake.
I guess 15 tried to come on too quickly there.
Yeah, Cayman McDonough was out by the numbers while the play was still kind of going on at the end. That's an interesting flag there. But the flag of real concern is to the far sideline. I mentioned got a good block from Chacon, but was that legal? Might be the question. It looked legal from here, but the referee threw it relatively quickly. We get the call here. Block below the waist, and that's exactly what that block was from Chacon. And an illegal substitution against Canyon Lake. So double whammy there from Canyon Lake, as they were playing relatively penalty-free leading up to this point, and it is a killer. That not only wipes off a 1st down, but it was 3rd and 11, and this is going to make it 3rd and that much more unmanageable. And Travis, just trying to think out loud here, this was probably going to be 4-down territory for Canyon Lake, as we've seen already in this ball game. They've tried to go for it on 4th down on 3 occasions and are perfect on the conversion rate. Now, in order to make it that much more easy for the conversion, you're going to need about 15 yards on this play.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I don't understand that illegal substitution called by the ref, but definitely back Canyon Lake up to make this pretty unmanageable.
3rd and 16. Roll Fulton here to the near side. In trouble. Launches the ball, and that ball goes up for and is intercepted. In and out of the hands of Tanner Ferris and into the arms of the safety. Tyler Godfrey, the sophomore, who comes up with the big interception at the Hornet 29.
And we were going to talk about it earlier. Owen Sibley this year has forced 7 fumbles. And after watching that interception and watching some of the other plays on this, I think that he has his hand in a lot more of these turnovers. He has been able to get pressure on the quarterback. He is busting through that offensive line, and he's kind of putting this one on him. He's not going to let Gatesville go out of this thing quietly.
Ben Fulton went through the 10-game regular season without throwing an interception, and that's his first one of the year into the arms of the sophomore. So 1st and 10, Gatesville now moving right to left with 3:06 left to go. Handoff up the middle. It's Mueller across the 30 to the 35. Good gain there on first down of about 8.
And all the momentum that Canyon Lake had going into that drive is gone. They had the first stop of the game, immediate touchdown, went up 2 scores for first time of anybody all game, and then throw their first interception of the year. I mean, it's playoffs. You don't really see it coming whenever it happens, but there it is.
2.5 left to go, third quarter. Canyon Lake with a 28-21 lead. Gatesville with the ball on 2nd down and 2 from the near hash. Bat to pass is Trush. Pocket collapses, and the Hawks are there to wrap them up and get the sack. Ruff making initial contact amongst 4 other Hawks.
And they were trying to rip that ball out.
They wanted it back. For sure.
They wanted to get that ball back for their offense very badly, but Jet did not let go of it.
Push them back to the 26. 3rd and 11 upcoming. And this would be a wonderful way to respond for Canyon Lake defensively after Ben Fulton threw his first interception of the year.
On that last play, you had 4 or 5 Canyon Lake guys in the backfield very quickly. I wonder what happened there.
Might have been a breakdown. But 3rd and 11 as it is. Quick pass here to the near side, and that's wide of his receiver, Lewis. Miscommunication between Truss and Lewis. Ball goes incomplete and be 4th down.
What a huge, huge stop by this Canyon Lake defense. Immediately after that turnover, well, maybe not. Their offense looks like they're staying out there.
I was about to say, hold your breath there. It might not be a stop. 1:35 left to go if you're Gatesville.
Well, they're 2 punters with their quarterback and their star receiver.
So could be a pooch punt here from Truss. He's out with 3 receivers to the far side, 2 to the near. 4th and 11. Truss, bat to pass, looking to the right side, middle of the field. Ball's delivered and caught. Oh, and a sliding catch, enough for a Gatesville first down. It's Hunter Dreyer.
Yeah, that was a very good play, very important play for this Gatesville team. Canyon Lake jumped at the out route about 5 yards short of the first down and opened up that slant down the middle. Got just enough for the first down. I think it was tipped too.
Ball look tip and a good adjustment by Dreyer to get down to it. Haul it in at the 40. New set of downs. Wildcat look. Lewis right side. Hawks are there. That was also the first play of the ball game offensively for Gatesville that cut the Hawks for big yardage. That adjustment has been made now, and Michael Harwell checked that with a good tackle there for minimum gain.
Yeah, that was a big hit by Harwell there. He stopped the Wildcat quarterback in his tracks.
2nd down and 8 from the 42. Bat to pass, under pressure's Truss. They have a screen set up and nobody's there. Ball goes incomplete. Zach Mueller tried to leak out of the backfield, but the Hawks were there to put him on the ground before he could. Incomplete.
Yeah, that was important there by the defensive line. They saw the running back. The old adage, if you get to the quarterback too easily, it's not because you're that good. It's because they want you there. So one of the defensive linemen got past and just saw a running back trying to sneak past him and knocked him down real quick. 3
receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Miller in the backfield with Truss. Wide receiver screen to the inside is delivered and caught. It's Mueller across the 45, shy of the first down by 3 yards, but it'll be very manageable here on 4th down, and why not? They just converted a 4th and 11.
Yeah, I think on the game so far, we're 4 for 4 on 4th down between these two teams, so might as well.
Only 1 punt in this ball game, and that came after a 3 and out on the opening possession of the third quarter for Gatesville. 7 seconds left in the third quarter. 4th and 3. Quick pass to the near side is caught, trying to make the first down marker, and did he get it? Extra effort will be determined by the spot. It's Derek Byer wrapped up in the backfield at the 49, but a second effort, and it'll come down to the spot. Now, the coaches to our right are the Canyon Lake coaches, and they think that the spot helps them. The Canyon Lake bench is erupting, saying that they made the spot.
Derek Byer is furious with where they spotted that football.
You know what? I know we're wearing green socks up here, and we're cheering here on the Hawks Network. With that extra effort, I thought Byer had enough to extend the football past the midfield marker. In fact, I was going to go ahead and call it and give him enough for a first down. The referee was not in a position to make a good judgment as to where the spot would be, so that might be in favor of the Hawks. The chains come from the far sideline. Here's the extension. The Canyon Lake bench will let you know. And it is short. Turnover on downs. That also, Travis, ends the third quarter. 1 quarter to play left in the first round of the high school football playoffs. Canyon Lake has a 28-21 lead. Fourth quarter upcoming on the Hawks Network on the other side of these breaks.
I'm Jaime Buenteo, produce buyer for H-E-B. We work hard to find the freshest, best produce available. That's why we work with Texas growers to buy local as much as possible. Over 100 million pounds annually. In fact, we sell more produce than any other store in Texas. Grapefruit, corn, blueberries, and tons more. All grown right here in our beautiful backyard and on their way to your store within 24 hours. This is the local Texas Produce Department at H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B.
Ben Campos, Travis Steele with you. Bo Wick, our executive producer. We have entered the fourth quarter of play here at Gupton Stadium. The Canyon Lake Hawks benefit from a good call here, or a call on the sideline. Might have been controversial. Travis, we were talking about it in our break. Because we are high up top here in the press box, and the play was here on the near side, perhaps we can't see where the runner stepped out. And if the referee was there to say, yes, you extended the football, but you stepped out perhaps behind the marker, I got to stop you out there. Either way it goes, it's 1st and 10. Canyon Lake from the Gatesville 49-yard line. Handoff up the middle to St. John. Will be shy of the 45 to the 46.
That's a big first down run, 4 yards, exactly what Canyon Lake wants to do with the football. Gatesville is reaching at it, trying to rip that ball out, trying to get their second turnover of the night. That's the only way they've stopped Canyon Lake thus far.
Boy, if Canyon Lake could put together a 5 or 6 minute drive here, and they sure are capable of that, get some type of points to extend it to a 2-possession game, you then question whether or not Gatesville will even see the ball 2 more times. Handoff Chacon, left side, cuts back towards the middle, across the 35, 30, down to the 29, has enough for a first down. There's a flag on the play. Back in the Hawk backfield, and an injured Hornet player who is writhing in pain back at the 42.
Yeah, they threw that flag pretty. He's in a lot of pain.
Wiggling his legs around, being attended to by the trainer. So, spot of the field here. Player down at the Hawk 42. The flag is down at the Hornet 46, and the ball is marked at the Hornet 29. So we have basically 25% of the field covered here. The player that is injured is number 30, Max Bartlett, the senior defensive end, with his helmet off, was writhing in pain, and he gets some assistance to the far sideline. Yeah. They spot the ball at the Hawk 44-yard line with no indication of what the penalty was. I can only assume, Travis, that's a hold.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of injury causes. It looks like he's holding his eye. It looks like he got poked in the eye. I was trying to figure out what kind of injury would cause the writhing that he did, but he's over on the sideline holding his right eye. So it looks like that might have been what it was.
Ball at the 44. I think it was a holding penalty. It sets up now at 2nd down and 16. Man in motion is Ferris. End around with Lorette to the right side. Nothing there. for Lorette. Can't turn the corner. A couple of Hornets there, Austin Byer and Zach Mueller.
Yeah, and Canyon Lake cannot have penalties with the way that they run this offense. A penalty on Canyon Lake is pretty much a death sentence for this offense. Whenever you get into these 3rd and 16 situations, I say that, but they've completed some huge passes already in this game.
Ben Fulton 2 for 2 with a touchdown, and he's back to pass again, looking into the flat for Ferris. That ball is intercepted. Going back the other way now into Hawk territory is Lewis across the 20. It's a pick 6 for Gatesville, and they've tied it up. Tyler Lewis, the junior defensive back. No flags.
Yeah, second interception of the game.
Oh, check that. There is a flag, Travis. I'm sorry, to the 20-yard line. Hold everything here. What a turn of events, Travis. It wasn't that long ago you and I were talking about it. You put a 5-minute drive together, and this could essentially ice it for Canyon Lake. And now the second interception of the night for Ben Fulton. The flag is down. It is a illegal block in the back on the return after the penalty, after the change of possession. So it'll still be Gatesville's ball, but instead of 6 points, it will be at the 29-yard line, and we'll see what type of impact that has into this ball game. 10:18 left to go in this game. 7-point difference, 28-21. Best field position of the night for Gatesville at the Hawk 29. 3 receivers to the far side. And an illegal procedure penalty is called against Gatesville.
Yeah, they got Canyon Lake to kind of jump on the defensive line, but then they jumped on the offensive line. I think that was another screen. There were 3 receivers and 2 defenders on the left side, and they were ready to get out, and I think they were getting ready to chunk that over there. I think that was a very good play for Canyon Lake's defense.
Back to the 34, first down and 15. 3 receivers to the far side. 1 running back to the right of Trust. They're trying to set up that screen, and the Hawks are there. Ball's delivered low and away, and it's incomplete. Lester Bain there in coverage, but the Hawks had that sniffed out from the beginning.
And it's weird. We're seeing a decent amount of frustration from Gatesville, from different players. And a 1-score game, it's probably more excitement than frustration. But they are becoming very animated very often.
Anxious, perhaps, knowing that they're this close. Down 21-28, second down and 15. Handoff fake. Truss goes up the middle. Flag in to the 29. Becomes a rugby scrum, and they will blow it there at the 29, the original longest line of scrimmage. We'll check the flag here from our head official, and it is a hold called against Gatesville, and you just saw Jet Truss, Travis, just hang his head. He cannot believe it.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 penalties on the biggest drive of the game so far for Gatesville. They score what looks like a tying touchdown. It gets called back for a block that was not necessary. Then they get a false start, and now a hold, and now we're looking at 2nd and, 25?
2nd and 25, ball at the Hawk 44. 15 yards of penalty assessed on Gatesville in this possession. Another screen set up. He's under pressure, rolling to the right. Rosas was there. Ball's delivered, and it's incomplete. Late flag comes in. Another flag. And, Travis, the first half was played so well. So little penalties on both sides. Only 3 possessions a team. And now you're starting to see the game kind of slip away from both teams. It's becoming a little bit more sloppy.
It looks like this is another one on Gatesville. The ref is coming over here to talk to Coach Drum, and fans are celebrating. Penalties declined. I mean, it's this drive is kind of the microcosm of the entire game so far for Gatesville. They score a touchdown. It gets brought back by a bad penalty, and now it is 3rd and 25 from the 45. I mean, it's a huge turn, almost all because of penalties. It's just sloppy when you cannot be sloppy.
Coach Drum electing to take the loss of down instead of the 10-yard penalty. So 3rd and 25 here. Can the defense make a stop? You know this is going to be 4th down territory for Gatesville. 3 receivers to the far side. They want to set up another wide receiver screen. Ball's caught by Byer. Byer's wrapped up immediately, and the Hawks are there. Loss of 1 yard to the 45. 3 Hawks there playing great football. And I think initial contact was made by Brandon Robinson.
I think that was Grayson Lee.
Grayson Lee, check that.
And it was a great job by him of shedding that block, getting to the receiver. A very, very frustrated Derek Byer on that play because he thought he had it broken open. He had all the blocks he needed, and huge play by Grayson Lee of getting off that block and getting some contact on the very explosive Derek Byer.
I had 8. I read 7. And it was Lee there. Truss will drop back. A little pooch kick on 4th and 25. No Hawks there on the return. Bounces at the 15, and not really much of a bounce. Finally downed right there at that spot at the 16. And Canyon Lake, after throwing 2 interceptions on their last 2 possessions, has forced a turnover on downs and now a punt. What a job by this Hawk defense to get the ball back over to their offense.
Yeah, just what a swing from, I know I've talked about it a couple times, but from the game-tying score to punting from your own 45.
Handoff up the middle. It's rough. Across the 20-yard line, shy of the 25 to the 24. A good gain there of 8 sets up 2nd down and 2.
If this Gatesville team is deflated at all, and the Hawks get a couple first downs here, they're gonna get real deflated real fast whenever Canyon Lake crushes another 5 minutes off this clock.
8.5 left in this ball game, and Canyon Lake up to the line. Fulton under center, handoff, going to the right side. I think that is rough again. Has enough for a Hawk first down to the 29-yard line. A good run there.
Now you just watch the clock. And I mean, I know Canyon Lake, they need to get a touchdown here. They need to score, make this a 2-possession game, but they also don't need to snap the ball with more than 5 seconds left on the clock.
We mentioned in the opening that the one stat that is so important to this Gatesville program is turnover margin. They are +2 tonight, but I would say the stat that is more important is points off turnover, 0 on those 2. As the handoff comes to the near side, it is Chacon on an end around, has enough for another Hawk first down to the 40.
That's a great run. These running back, this is something that you see with the Canyon Lake team. They keep running against this defense. Their line keeps leaning on that defensive line. They start to get big chunks later in the game. A little bit deflation by this defense, thinking they had the pick 6, and now getting back out there still down 7. And they start to lean on them, get some chunks, and do what they need to do.
Handoff, quick hit up the middle. It's Micah St. John across the 40, shy of midfield by 2 yards to the 48, gain of 8 on the quick hit from Micah.
And you're seeing these Gatesville defenders taking some time to get off the ground. Canyon Lake up, ready to snap the ball, even though they know they're not going to do it for another 30 seconds. Canyon Lake's ready to go. Their offensive line's ready to go. They're used to this. And Gatesville's a lot of hands on their hips, taking knees. They're tired.
I see one Gatesville defender, the nose guard, over the ball, taking a knee. That's Sibley.
Well, he's done a lot tonight,
he
has every right to take a knee.
10 seconds left on the play clock. Handoff again, St. John, again the quick hit, and again a Hawk first down now into Hornet territory at the 47. We'll keep the clock, actually stop it momentarily to set the change, and they get the restart here. 6.5 left and ticking.
Sibley's getting off that ball so quickly. He's almost getting to the ball before the center gets it to the quarterback. He is going right through that center. The center doesn't even have time to get up to block him, and Sibley is either through him or trying to touch the ball and knock it out of the quarterback's hands.
1st and 10 from the Gatesville 47-yard line. Handoff coming to the near side on an end around is Chacon into 3 or 4 Hornet defenders. Fights forward, gain of 4 on first down.
And as my dad says, tick, tick, tick.
Tick, tick,
it's
tick.
just going. The clock's not stopping. The only time that it can stop for Gatesville is if they call timeout or if Canyon Lake gets a first down. And neither one of those you really want to do if you're Gatesville.
Trying to put this game away with 5.5 left in the fourth quarter. Canyon Lake on top, 28-21. Back to the line, quick set up the middle. It's St. John again to the 40 and wrestled down to the. Actually, they'll stop them forward progress there at the 40, and Gatesville is going to come in and call their first timeout of the ball game of the second half. Check that. With 5:17 left to go before the game is over. You mentioned it, Travis. You got to start looking at the clock, and Gatesville's thinking to themselves, how much are we going to get the ball back? How much time is going to be left? One possession game at this point.
Well, if it's up to Owen Sibley for Gatesville, they're going to get the ball back on this next play because he hit the quarterback again a quarter of a second after he handed the ball off and planted him into the ground. Sibley is playing a heck of a game from that nose guard position and making a really big impact and is just inches away from making about 3 or 4 game-changing plays. So if Canyon Lake can keep him at bay, he has the 7 forced fumbles on the year, and I don't know how many of those interceptions he's forced by getting pressure on the quarterback, but he seems to be in the backfield every play.
Would like to see him against a conventional offense with a quarterback that's dropping back to pass, and you could actually see his talents versus maybe an I formation rush or a zone read, something like that, actually see him come off the ball, but it's just a skill set that really doesn't do anybody too much favor against the slot T running attack. On 3rd and 3, handoff again is quick up the middle with St. John, and was a timeout made? Yes, Charlie Drum came in to call timeout. And so that play, although for a first down, will go for naught. If you don't know where Gatesville is, it is part officially of the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood metro area, just north of Austin and south of Dallas. It is the county seat of Coryell County with the population of 16,000, and it is home to a number of our prisons in our state prison system. Travis, one thing of note, 9,000 of the 16,000 residents of Gatesville are inmates. I didn't know you counted inmates as part of your population.
I did not either until you and I were doing our research into Gatesville and found out where they got their name from, which is from Fort Gates. And one thing I wanted to point out, because you were asking about Sibley against conventional offense. So this Gatesville team has 16 tackles for loss if you don't count Sibley. Sibley has 11. So they have 27 as a team, with Sibley bringing 11 of those.
He's the bull moose.
There he is again.
Makes initial contact on Micah St. John, and that just goes to show you that timeout was a detriment to Canyon Lake. They had the first down, but timeout was called. They come back with the same play to Micah St. John, and Sibley makes initial contact, no gain, and this will be 4th down. Actually give Micah 1 to the 39, and Canyon Lake will try to ice the game here. No timeout from either team on a critical 4th and 2. Fulton under center. Handoff. Chacon left side. He's got a hawk, first down and more. Across the 30, the 25-20. Brought down from behind by Kobe Sheets. Across the 15 to the 10-yard line.
And I know I keep talking about Sibley. Sibley was there 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, but he guessed wrong. And that's one thing you cannot do against this Canyon Lake offense. You can't guess. And when you guess, you get gashed. And wasn't Sibley that guessed. It was the team guessed left, or guessed to their left, and Canyon Lake went to their left. And had the big opening, the huge first down, and he got down, stayed in bounds. Clock keeps ticking, 4 minutes left. That's exactly what Canyon Lake wanted to do on this drive.
At the 10, the Hawks have it, 1st and goal. Handoff is faked. It's a keeper by Fulton to the left side, and he gets down to the 8 and pushed back. Helmet comes off. Late hit, but I think what the referee's explaining to Coach Drum is the whistle didn't blow, and perhaps the defender thought that Fulton was still on his feet. So no flag there.
And they're letting Fulton stay in the game even though his helmet came off. I think it's because of – it's weird. Wasn't a late hit, but it was a late hit because he's allowed to stay in the game because even though his helmet came off.
That's a good point. The referee saying, you know, we're allowing continuation, but the helmet came off after the play, even though that's when the hit came. So.
Oh, they are. Are they making him come? They are making him come out. Okay.
Coach Drum just wants an answer, as no referee has told him. Play clock down to 2-1, and Coach Drum takes his second timeout. And the near side referee is getting an earful from Coach Drum, but more on Gatesville, the city. Travis, named the Spur capital of Texas by Texas State Legislature in 2001 because it is home to the largest collection of spurs that is on display at the Coryell County Museum there in Gatesville. Everybody from Jackie Onassis Kennedy to Pancho Villa have their spurs on display at this museum in Gatesville.
Well, I'm sure San Antonio's upset that that Spurs Nation is not also the Spur capital.
Write a letter. Write a letter to your congressman. Of course, this would have been after, let me see, 2001, so the Spurs might have only one championship, only 3 jerseys in the rafters at that time. You take a poll now, or maybe after 16 years.
Election year's coming up, and that is my platform. Bring it back to San Antonio.
The Spur capital of Texas, Gatesville. Just kind of odd history. The largest collection of Spurs. Okay. Second down and goal from the 9. Handoff Chacon, left side. Minimal gain down to the 8-yard line. 1 yard. Going to be third down, and Gatesville will take their second timeout with 3:14 left to go.
It's interesting because Canyon Lake wants the defense to kind of hold them up, bleed the clock, but Gatesville also wants to hold them up and rip the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing a lot of these running backs right now, instead of trying to break the tackles like we're so used to seeing with them, you're seeing them hold on to the ball with both hands, just kind of fall back into the defensive line of Gatesville. They know that they cannot turn the ball over for a third time this game, and if they just get a field goal here, this game is probably out of reach.
Gatesville preaches turnovers. That is the number 1 stat for Coach Kyle Cooper. They're +2 tonight. 2 interceptions on the previous 2 possessions for Canyon Lake and Ben Fulton. The problem is for Gatesville, they didn't turn those into points. And for Canyon Lake, what a response from their defense after those 2 interceptions, respond with a turnover on downs and a 3-and-out punt forced.
And the Canyon Lake offense, which has been so unstoppable through the first 3 quarters, has not scored since about 8 minutes left in the third quarter.
Third and goal from the 8. Handoff Ferris, right side. Can he turn the corner? At the 5, dives forward to the 3, stays in bounds, and gets them that much closer to the end zone. Gatesville will take their last timeout with 3:07.
And here's decision time again. It looks like they're going to bring out the field goal unit, kicking from the right hash. So, all right, kicker Ben, right-footed kicker. You want to be from the left or the right?
Well, there's basically 2 schools of thought here. If you're a right-footed kicker from the right hash, you would have a natural draw, one would think, from right to left. So the right hash would be beneficial from that point of view, have it naturally draw in. And as my kicking coach said, if that's true and you're on the left hash, then aim towards the right and just have your draw kind of bring it in. I would say this is a tough angle at the 2. It's tougher than if you say you let the play clock run out and you take a 5-yard penalty and maybe that increases your angle. This is an important field goal, Travis. It makes it a 2-possession ball game with 3:07 left. Again, the question is begged, will Gatesville see the ball 2 more times? That's not necessarily a given. And so this is a critical field goal from the right hash and the right foot of Trenton Lorette. The ball spotted at the 2. Tee down at the 9 makes this a 19-yard field goal. Out of the hold. The kick is up, on the way, and it is good. Trenton Lorette puts Canyon Lake up 10 with 3:04 left to go in this ball game. Our new score, Canyon Lake 31, Gatesville 30. We'll hold everything here as we were about to send it to break. There is a late flag down in the backfield. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Canyon Lake. So I think the field goal stands, and that will be assessed on the kickoff. 3:04 left to go in the ball game. Canyon Lake on top, 38-21. You're listening to high school football on the Hawks Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
Ben Campos, Travis Steele with you. A 19-yard field goal is our latest score from Canyon Lake off the foot of Trenton Lorette. Makes this a 31-21 game, 2 possessions with 3:04 left to go in this ball game.
And this penalty makes this very, very interesting because Canyon Lake's been wanting to kick this ball kind of short to keep it away from the dangerous returnment at Gatesville. And now they're not going to really be able to do that because of the penalty. If they do kick a little short one, it's going to go to the 50, which is obviously a very short field. So they have to make a decision if they're going to kick it to the dangerous return man or just give up it at the 50.
Certain ball at the 50 is probably better than what the return man could or can't do. Ball is kicked deep from the 25. It's Byer up the middle at the 45. Spins out of a tackle at midfield into Hawk territory and brought down. Robinson making contact on special teams into Hawk territory at the 46.
And we got to see a little bit of it there.
The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. And so if you're telling me give it to them at the 50 or what's in the box, I'm taking it at the 50. And luckily, special teams was good enough to avoid an even bigger return as it was set up for that. So 1st and 10, Gatesville from the 46. Moving left to right with now under 3 minutes to go in the ball game. Spread look for Truss. Out route is too high for his intended receiver and out of bounds. Bame in coverage on the outside.
We got to see an audible, first audible I've seen so far from Jet. He did a little bow and arrow and looked like his receiver ran the arrow route. So just a little bit high. They almost got a nice 5-yard gain out of that. Just a little bit over the receiver's head.
Last possession for Gatesville started in Hawk territory at the 29, and they were turned away on a 3-and-out. 2nd down and 10 from the Hawk 46. Out route to the near side. Ball's caught by Mueller across the 35. It's enough for a Hornet first down, flung forward to the 30.
And we're getting to see, I love watching zone secondary work out there. Linebacker was there. He was getting out of his zone. Linebacker just pushed 5 down and got up and made the play. But I love watching zone.
2.5 left. Another wide receiver screen set up to the far side. Mueller has it across the 30 to the 26 before being tackled. Making the tackle there, I believe, was Sam Shepard, the defensive tackle.
It's a good job by Canyon Lake's defense of funneling that screen back inside to where all his tacklers are instead of letting him get outside and get to the time like he wanted to.
2nd down and 6 from the 26. Truss back to pass into the soft spot of the zone. Little curl route is incomplete. Too low for Mueller. He's been the man targeted by Truss most often tonight. Ball goes incomplete.
That was the same route combination that they had the huge play on earlier. The short out route, trying to get that corner to bite and get it to him before the safety comes down. Just a little bit low.
Mueller came into tonight's ball game, 28 catches, 401 yards, and 4 touchdowns. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. Leg up, leg down from Truss. Quick pass here to the near side. That's Lewis. Almost making a tackle there for Canyon Lake across the 25-20. Spun forward, should have enough for a Hornet first down. Parker Reno was the initial man there for Canyon Lake, just couldn't make the tackle.
But he's letting him know about it. Good job by the Canyon Lake secondary again of forcing the receivers back inside rather than letting them get outside.
Back to the line on first down, wide receiver screen, far side, ball comes out. Lewis had it, and the Hawks have it now across the 15-yard line, going forward and the other way for Canyon Lake across the 25, fighting through tackles. The Hawks have it after the fumble recovery. I believe that's 8, Grayson Lee again. The 6'1", 200-pound junior middle linebacker. Looky what I found here, and that might seal the ball game. Flag thrown late. And that is because Tyler Lewis, the gentleman, the young man who fumbled the football, or actually he wasn't him on the play. He was down blocking, spikes the football in frustration. And you know what? This is a good heads-up thing by the referee. Just pick up the flag. You can tell that kid's frustrated. And just let him play.
And no timeouts left. This should just be victory formation 3 times. And see you next week.
That's exactly what it is for Canyon Lake. The kneel from Fulton and the heartbreak here on the far sideline from some of the Gatesville players. Played hard in this ball game. What a game this was. A very tight first half played. Only 3 possessions for both teams. Back and forth they went, and when it went back for Canyon, it did not come. Canyon Lake, it did not come forth for Gatesville to end that half, and that's why Canyon Lake had a 21-14 lead. And then turnovers were the name of the game in the second half.
This is going to be a very, very tough loss for Gatesville to swallow. Very tough. They had every opportunity. Just a couple dumb plays. I didn't see the block in the back on the interception return.
Oh, I said it at the time. What impact would that have in this ball game? And it took a touchdown off the board of what would have been a pick 6, and instead of that, that's where they went 3 and out and punted after a series of penalties.
Yeah, punted from the 45 after scoring a touchdown. Incredible game by Gatesville. Really fun to watch them. Great game out there by Sibley. Derek Byer had a good game. He looked like he got hurt in the first half and still played a heck of a football game. And then Jet Truss, I'm sure it was a great year for him. I'm sure it was a great career. And he laid everything he had out there on the line tonight.
6 seconds, 5 and ticking. 3, 2, 1. And the Canyon Lake Hawks have punched their ticket to the second round of the playoffs. Our final score from Gupton Stadium in Cedar Park, Texas, it's Canyon Lake 21 and Gatesville 31. We'll step aside. Post-game coverage on the other side of these words. You're listening to the Hawks Network.
The University Interscholastic League would like to thank its corporate sponsors. Without the generous support of these sponsors, many UIL activities would not be possible. The UIL gives special thanks to the Army National Guard, Baden, Balfour, Baylor Scott and White, Dairy Max, Dairy Queen, Ford, Fox Sports Southwest, Gatorade, Hellas Construction, Max Preps, the NFHS Network, Nike, Register My Athlete, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, and Tick-A-Tap Ticketing. These generous corporate sponsors support the UIL in all its activities, music, academics, and athletics. The UIL appreciates these sponsors and their participation in all that the UIL does in Texas extracurricular activities. On behalf of the UIL and its corporate sponsors, thank you for supporting UIL activities in your community, and thank you for listening to this state playoff contest. Enjoy the game.
Welcome back to Cedar Park, Texas, just north of our state capital. Ben Campos, Travis Steele with you. It is a Hawk victory in the first round of the playoffs. They get the win tonight, 31-21 over Gatesville. You know, Travis, it's not what, but when and how when you're talking about turnovers. Preached as the theme and the all-important statistic for Gatesville. They were +1 on the turnover margin tonight. But the 2 interceptions they got from Ben Fulton, no points and had to give the ball back to Canyon Lake, and the one turnover they gave away was while they were marching in for perhaps a score that would have made it a one-score game. But you turn the ball over via fumble, and that ices the game for Canyon Lake. So it's not about the what, it's about the when and the how. And Canyon Lake, lucky for them, the 2 interceptions don't hurt them as they get the win tonight.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny moving forward that those interceptions could help Canyon Lake out a little bit because they were able to deal with their first interceptions of the year and gave up zero points. I mean, it's one of those things where, he broke it for the first time and it didn't kill him. And so moving forward, they've been through that situation now. And whenever you get in the playoffs, the further you get, the more situations you've been in and know how to deal with. So there's a lot that Canyon Lake's going to be able to learn from this game.
Ben Fulton did not throw an interception all year, had 2 tonight. And in our opening, Travis, we talked about this Canyon Lake defense playing with a lot of confidence and flying around to the football. And I think we just saw some evidence there that would add to reasons why they would want to be confident after that, and having short fields, able to give the ball back to their team as Charlie Drum, or actually it's not Coach Drum, it's one of the assistant coaches, gets the Gatorade bath down there on the sideline. Again, your final score, it's Canyon Lake 31, Gatesville 21. The winner of this ball game plays the winner between Pleasanton and Rio Grande City Grula. That score last updated at the half was Pleasanton on top 25-9, but stick with us here on the Hawks Network. We will have all the information of what Canyon Lake will be up to next week, who they will be playing, where they will be playing, and when as we enter the Thanksgiving week in high school football. If you're playing around Thanksgiving, good things are happening for your program, and that it will be the case for Canyon Lake next week. Again, your final score, Canyon Lake 31, Gatesville 21. With the loss, Gatesville now has lost 4 in a row and ends their 2017 season with a 4-7 mark, 2-3 in District 13 4A. With the win, Canyon Lake improves to 9-2 after a 4-0 mark in District 14 4A. Again, stick with the Hawks Network throughout the week as we will give you updates as to where, when, and who Canyon Lake will be playing next week. Again, your final score from Cedar Park, Texas, it's Canyon Lake 31, Gatesville 21. Now for my broadcast partner this evening, Travis Steele, for our executive producer, Bo Wick, I am Ben Campos, wishing you a good night and a safe drive home from Gupton Stadium in Cedar Park, Texas.